from around the area. A lot going on this evening. As we mentioned, let's go ahead and get you some of those scores that we know that you're hoping for this evening. Jackson Ironmen took down the Miami Trace Panthers 24-21 this evening. An unofficial final on London Archbishop McNicholas 17-14. The Red Raiders survived the Rockets of McNicholas this evening. The Red Raiders coming into this game, outscoring their last 6 opponents, a combined 242-0. That is right, 242-0 in their last 6 games. Shut out all 6 opponents. They were playing really good football. McNick, really good football, plays really good defense as well. It kind of made London seem a little more human as things transpired there. Again, that's where Jackson's going to be heading next Friday. Let's swing it over to Division 4 for just a moment. Fairfield Union falls in shutout fashion to the New Lex Panthers, 39-0. The Panthers blank the Falcons tonight at New Lexington. Circleville falls to Maidenhutton Indian Valley, the Braves, 48-14. Defending state champs over there. So getting a few points on the board for the Tigers. I think that's a little bit of a showing, but there's a tough Braves squad, man. They run the football so well, just a tough team. Don't have a final on Jonathan Alder and Johnstown. Not necessarily a coverage team, but looking at 3 of the other 4 games in this region, just feels right that we should mention it. Uniogo looks like they are going to hang on to beat the East Tigers 21-12 at the moment. This is live. Swing over to Total Media Sports YouTube. Check it out. Tune in to 100.9 WXIZ Hank FM, where you can hear Greg Bigham and Jaron Cox in the final 44 seconds. East with the football. They trail by 2 scores, down 9 points, 44 seconds to go in the game. Empty backfield, and they're trying to march towards the end zone, just trying to make anything happen because things fall incomplete there. It's going to bring up 3rd and long. Swing over to listen to those guys, or tune into Total Media Sports YouTube and catch it over there. You can see it for yourself. Why listen to me when you can catch it yourself on a beautiful football Friday night, just full of coverage in the area from our crews. A big shout out to those crews out in the elements this evening and during the elements, right there with the Sarge and I and our producer on the evening, Julian Villarreal out of Chillicothe, man. He's a good guy too. He helps us out, plugs things in for us and makes sure that we sound as good as we can. We appreciate him as well. Let's swing it over to Division 4 Region 16, where Washington Courthouse trailed the Indian Hill Braves big time a little while ago. I don't have a final for you on that. We'll make sure to get one for you here in just a little while. Division 5 Region 19. This is the fun one here in the 7-4-0. The Morgan Raiders fell to the Wheelersburg Pirates 43-3 this evening. The Pirates playing phenomenal football. Looks like the bye week did them a little bit of good. Morgan, a tougher test than Wheelersburg made it seem this evening, but that is the Pirates for you. No doubt about that there. Going to get you a final on Zane Trace and Columbus Academy here in just a moment once it goes final. Actually, it looks like it has gone final here. Let me get that for you. The final in this one, Columbus Academy hangs on to beat Zane Trace 35-23. 35-23. The Vikings take down the Pioneers, and the Pioneer season comes to a close as Unioga looks to be as a 4th down and 25 pass falls incomplete. Unioga's on the field celebrating because they are going to pick up that ever so desired home playoff win. And a big shout out to the Sherman Tanks there. They are now the lone SVC team remaining in the postseason here. Let's get it down to the Division 5 Region 19 here. Keep it in the region here for just a moment, where Nelsonville York blanks the Union Local Jets and completes the Revenge Tour. Big shout out to Rusty Richards and his squad. I'd love to hear from Coach Richards and his team. I'm sure we will at some point this evening. He always gives us a call. So at some point this evening, beyond 10 p.m., we will hear from Coach Richards. I know that he's going to be hyped up about the completion, not the completion of a season, but his team certainly did accomplish a number of the goals that they've set out to do this year, and with a few on the table, and that's a good sign for Coach Richards and his team. I know he's going to be really excited about what transpired there in Bucktown this evening. Swing it down to the final game in the region, where the Barnesville Shamrocks blank the Portsmouth Trojans 34-0. The Shamrocks take care of business. Long haul for the Trojans, 3 hours in 10 minutes up the road. They had to make this trip to Barnesville. So long haul for the Trojans, excuse me. And a season comes to a close that was quite eventful to end the year as the things really shook up in that region in the playoffs. Things got interesting. Things got very interesting for the Portsmouth Trojans. They found themselves in a situation to host a home playoff game, which they took full advantage of last week against Amanda Clear Creek, but just ran into a buzzsaw. That is the Barnesville Shamrock. So fortunately for the Trojans, their season comes to an end this evening. Let's swing it down to Division 6, Region 23, where I'd love to hear what happened between Ridgewood and Centerburg at some point. I'm sure we will. That was my 9-1 upset on the night. I felt like that was a potential upset in that matchup. Ridgewood, a perennial powerhouse in Division 6, and just I thought Ridgewood did some really, really good things. This season. I thought they had an opportunity to go into Centerburg and possibly make some noise, but we'll see. We'll get you a final on that one. Let's swing it over to our only game the only game we really cover out of this region as far as the teams that we generally cover in our area. Fort Fry Cadets take down the Caldwell Redskins 28-14. Nice win for the Cadets. They'll move on, and they'll take on either the winner of the Toronto Red Knights or the West Jeff Rough Riders. Again, that was a really nice game on the slate this evening as well. West Jeff and their quarterback, Austin Bishop, play really, really good football. Bishop, of course, over 3,200 yards on the year now. Just a really talented offense, kind of bred to be quarterback when your dad's the head coach of a high-powered passing attack up in West Jefferson. Just a really good football program are the Rough Riders. Colonel Crawford and Mount Gilead, we'll wait on the final there, and we'll try to get that one to you as well out of Region 23. Let's swing it down to 24 for just a moment, where Portsmouth West season comes to an end. They fall to the Tri-Village Patriots 54-22, and unfortunately for the Senators, exactly that season comes to a close. The Patriots take care of business. Again, another young program, as the Sarge mentioned earlier in our broadcast this evening. Kind of, if you're local to the 7-4, kind of similar to what Beaver Eastern's program is. Kind of fresh up and going program, kind of bare bones, if you would, but doesn't take a lot. Doesn't take a lot to play the game of football. A few helmets and a ball go a long way, and that's exactly what they're doing, and they're doing a very good job, are the Patriots. They'll move on to Week 13. The Northeastern, Springfield Northeastern, that is, Jets take down the Rock Hill Redmen, shutout fashion. The Redmen go on the road and fall 59-0 for the Redmen. Tough one for Rock Hill as their season comes to a close there. Let's swing it down to Division 7. We'll start in Region 27, couple of games here. Waterford Wildcats, 42. Strasburg Franklin, 7. So Waterford 42, Strasburg Franklin 7. They just kind of breezed by the Tigers. Tigers a much improved program. We didn't get the opportunity to talk much on the pregame show about this game here. Tigers a much improved program, but unfortunately for the Tigers, I didn't feel like they were at the point where they could take down the Waterford Wildcats and just that high powered attack. It just didn't quite feel like it. Sarge in the broadcast mentioned earlier, Hayden Jones moved to running back. I kind of, right after that, I said, I like that shakeup. I think Hayden Jones suits himself well in the backfield carrying the rock as opposed to the quarterback position. So, really nice job for Waterford to do what they needed to do at home, and they'll survive, and they'll play in Week 13 as well. Trimble goes into Willowwood to take on the Sims Valley Vikings and run into a buzzsaw. The Tomcats fall 41-12 tonight to the Sims Valley Vikings, and unfortunately not what the Tomcats had in store for Phil Fairs and his Fairs Well tour, as we've so talked about here. But, unfortunately, their season comes to an end, and all 4 losses come to team. Of course, for Trimble come to teams that were in the 2025 playoffs. So, tough slate for the Trimble Tomcats. I personally felt like they had a really good chance in this game. I actually took Trimble to win in this game against Sims Valley, but just not what was in the cards for the Tomcats this evening. The Sims Valley Vikings take care of business at home, and let's swing it down to one that hurts me to my core here. One that kind of stings for just a moment here. Fort Recovery take down the Eastern Beaver Eagles 38-6 in Beaver. And unfortunately for Beaver fans, this isn't the night that you hoped for in Week 12. I know that there was a lot of optimism. I know that there was a lot of hope about the opportunity to play a school as prominent as Mary and Franklin and really give you a chance to see where you stand. But unfortunately, you run into a school, similar team, same conference, but the Fort Recovery Indians just too much for Beaver Eastern tonight. And in the Eagles' defense in this contest, again, 32-point loss. Probably tough to come away with many moral victories, but this is a very young program, and I personally think that this is the best program or the best team that they have seen since the program has been, well, since its inception, really. I think that the Fort Recovery Indians, just the way they play football, the brand of football they play, it's physical, it's fast, but it's crisp. It's very, very clean. And Beaver Eastern, it's not quite like these schools out of the MAC over in the western part of Ohio. It's not quite like small school football is around here. Once you start looking at those schools, it is a dog-eat-dog conference, and then they get into the postseason, and that conference just wreaks absolute havoc. So again, I shout out to the Beaver Eastern Eagles and the run that you've had, but just a tough one tonight. I really don't have another way to word it. I will say this. If you would have asked Scott Tomlinson, probably in the middle of a game, is probably what he what they wanted, muddy, nasty type of football. I know that they give me a hard time about that down there in Beaver, but that's the type of football that they like to play. Down, dirty, grit your teeth, roll up your sleeves. It's Week 12. It's going to get dirty type of football. But unfortunately for Beaver Eastern, just didn't go that way. And I don't really know that this had much to do with any sort of bye week or any sort of preparation. Again, speaking with people heading into this game, speaking with Daniel Stewart heading into this game, he felt like his team was very prepared for this opportunity. They had done all they could do in that aspect to prepare their guys, at least. But unfortunately, just again, the time will come where Beaver Eastern takes down these types of programs. It certainly will. Coach Tomlinson has done such a good job with this program. Unfortunately for Beaver Eastern, it just wasn't tonight. And this is a squad that is, if they don't go 10-0, let's say this is a squad that goes 8-2, 9-1. You can almost hang your hat on and say, yeah, but they're young and they're going to be bringing back all this talent. Well, that's still the case anyway, but they went 10-0 this year. That offensive line is going to take a little bit of work. Those guys up front, they're going to be losing a few of those heavier gentlemen, those heavier young guys that paved the way for the Jack Montgomerys and keep Eric Manley's jersey clean and make sure the Boston Webb stays upright. They're going to have to figure out that part of things. But Beaver Eastern and the program they've done such a good job in such a short period of time. They're going to be okay. They're going to be just fine, and no sweat or worry about that. So no concerns there. I'll get you one more run of the scores that we've got from around the area, and we will get you to our first break of the evening here. Circleville falls to the Indian Valley Braves by a final score of 48-14. The Portsmouth Trojans fall to the Barnesville Shamrocks 34-0. The Shamrocks shut out the Trojans. Strasburg Franklin Tigers fall to the Waterford Wildcats 42-7 in Waterford. The Nelsonville York Buckeyes shut out the Union Local Jets in Bucknell 35-0 this evening. Sims Valley outlast the Trimble Tomcats 41-12 this evening. Great win for Sims Valley in that contest there. Portsmouth West season comes to an end as they fall to the Tri-Village Patriots. Final score of that contest 54-22. The Patriots get the win. Fort Recovery, as we just mentioned, takes down the Eastern Eagles 38-6 6. The Miami Trace Panthers fall in Alumni Stadium to the Jackson Ironmen 24-21. New Lex takes down the Fairfield Union Falcons 39-0. Wheelersburg stays unbeaten on the year, moves to 11-0, 43-3. After a win at Ed Miller Stadium this evening, Northeastern, the Jets, take down the Rock Hill Redmen 59-0. The East Tigers fall to the Unioto Shermans, and the Shermans pick up their first playoff win since 2020. But I would venture to say they took you their first real playoff win. I'd agree with the Sarge as well. Just a little while ago, and Columbus Academy takes down Zane Trace 35-23. Those are your finals from around the area this evening. We are going to go ahead here and here in just a moment here and get you to our first break of the broadcast, as we're still waiting on the Greg and Jaron over in the SVC to wrap up here, join the program, and once they do, we'll get you tagged in here, to the program. But we'll figure things out here. We'll figure things out. Again, huge things happening around the area this evening. We started things in Jackson as the Ironmen played host to the Miami Trace Panthers. Very, very back and forth game to start this contest this evening. Jackson drew first blood in the contest with 7:32 to go in the first quarter. Simets ran again from 14 yards out, followed by a PAT that was good by Thatcher Brown. Thatcher Brown would later on strike for the Ironmen as the clock ticked to 0 to in the half. The first half, that is. It was a tied game, 7-7, but off the foot of Thatcher Brown, a 40-yard field goal attempt was up and good. Gave the Ironmen a 3-point advantage heading into the half. And guess what? Yeah, they're right. That 3-point advantage would mean a little something tomorrow, or would mean a little something later on in the second half as well for the Ironmen. And that's exactly how things would shape up in the end. You know, this game got really interesting late in the game. I'd have to go back and look at my times as we were kind of setting up here and didn't get to take quite the notes I would like to have taken. But things got really interesting late in this contest. Miami Trace had a lead, pinned Jackson deep in its own territory, but Ryan Simets shook the war room and shook all of Jackson County, it sounded like, with a 98-yard touchdown run. Took a counter to the house. I mean, foot in the ground, followed his two offensive linemen, foot in the ground, cut back run, took it 98. You weren't catching him on the defensive side of things, no doubt there, no doubt. A no-doubt touchdown, but Miami Trace, to a lot of credit to Miami Trace, a lot of credit to the Panthers, would get the football back, and they would do what Miami Trace does. It looked like Julian Baker on the scamper took it from about 65 yards out, and Miami Trace on a little ISO play, little G block from the tackle, wham ISO, if you would, from the near back, and off they went. It was a really nice play from the Panthers. And I think Jackson, too, we talked about tackling in the pregame show. I think Jackson definitely didn't bring its best effort to the table tackling on the defensive side of the ball. We talk about in wet venues and wet environments how fumbling the ball is a problem, or hanging on to it, or maybe dropped passes or interceptions or issues with weather. Slipping off of a guy when you're trying to tackle him, a wet body is tricky. That gets really tricky, especially nowadays. These jerseys just fit tighter and tighter. It's really, really tricky. And I felt like Jackson struggled with that at times tonight. Not to discredit the Miami Trace Panthers. Julian Baker runs as hard as any back in Southeastern Ohio. A big tip of the hat to that young man for what he does on the offensive side of the football. He is a tank with the football in his hands. He does some really, really good things, and he did exactly that tonight. So tip of the hat to that young man. Hats off to him. And he kept Miami Trace in this game and kept Miami Trace with the lead. Miami Trace maintained that 4-point lead, just clung to it until the final minute of the game, where Bodie Wilford would connect with Ryan Simets up the right sideline and ultimately give Jackson the 3-point lead, again off the foot of Thatcher Brown to kick off to wind down the first half, I should say. Really, really nice weapon to have in your arsenal for the Ironmen. But Ironmen survive, 3-point advantage for the Ironmen. That's how things would conclude in that one. Again, we're awaiting hearing from Dan Morrow, getting him back in the studio here, and we'll hear a whole lot more from the perspective of the trio that is Dan, and Pete, the voices of the Ironmen here in just a little while. But now that we've got you all in here, we welcome you to things. We'll welcome you back to the original program here in just a few moments here. But thanks for joining us. It's Football Friday Nights, Week 12. We will be back in just a moment.
970 AM and 97.3 FM. The Game. WATH Athens, a Total Media Group station.
The following is a special sports presentation from the Total Media Sports Network. It's Football Friday Kickoff, presented by Slark's Collision Center. As we get you ready for all your football action across the 740. Tonight's show is presented by Slark's Collision Center and brought to you by
Hauser Health System,
Howard Hanna McMillan Network,
A.T. Hoy Transport,
Higgins Steel Roofing,
Rocky Outdoor Gear Store,
Nick Station,
Steak and Shake,
True Track Garage Doors,
McFadden Insurance,
Ohio Valley Bank,
Hocking College,
Area Agency on Aging District 7,
Willis Advantage Property Solutions,
Hidcock Glass,
and Southern Ohio Souls.
Now, let's kick off your Football Friday night. Here's Eric Landrum and Ethan Sargent.
Welcome to the War Room. Total Media's Football Friday Nights, Week 12. That's right, Week 12. The action has been phenomenal. Freaking phenomenal, as some of our broadcasters around Total Media may say. Big shout out to Wyatt. Big shout out to Wyatt, man. What a guy. Welcome to the broadcast. Total Media's Football Friday Nights. Moments away from hearing from Dan Morrow. The Sarge will be here with us in studio, and we're going to hear from the crew over in Nelsonville here in just a few moments. Again, the Nelsonville York Buckeyes picked up their first win of the postseason. They'll move on to Week 13 here in just a moment. We're going to have a couple of the voices of Nelsonville York. We're going to have Noah Lovely on the line here with us here in just a few moments. He's going to be chit-chatting with us about the Nelsonville York Buckeyes and the job that they did this evening. Took care of business, completing the revenge tour out in Buckdale this evening against a Union local squad that came into the game with pretty good numbers. They were a pretty good running attack behind Brody Perzingowski, who was an honorable mention All-Ohio guy a year ago. Last week, he ran for 38 carries, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was the heart of the offense. But tonight, not much of a heartbeat to the Union local Jets offense, as they were just stymied by a Nelsonville York defense that just continues, it seems, to get better and better and better week in and week out. Just Rusty Richards and his squad. Just I don't know how I continue to see the focus from their squad get quite as locked in as they are, and it just gets better each week. I see more and more devil in the details with his crew. They seem more ready on the defensive side of the ball. They just the mentality that they play the defensive game with it's violent, it's tough, it's physical. They pride themselves in getting to the football. They pride themselves in tackling the ball carrier and getting him to the ground immediately. And not much going for the Union local Jets tonight. Again, as just complete shutdown from the Nelsonville York Buckeyes. If we're just welcoming you to the broadcast, let's go ahead and get you some of those scores from around the area, and then we'll get to some of what we saw tonight as the Sarge makes his way into the war room. We'll get him settling here as well. Indian Valley takes down Circleville 48-14. Portsmouth falls on the road in Barnesville to the Shamrocks 34-0. Waterford takes down Strasburg Franklin 42-7 this evening. Union local, as we just mentioned, falls to the Nelsonville York Buckeyes 35-0. Sims Valley takes down the Trimble Tomcats 41-12. Tri-Village Patriots knock off Tri-Village Patriots knock off the Portsmouth West Senators 54-22. Fort Recovery takes down the Eastern Eagles 38-6. Miami Trace Panthers fall to the Jackson Ironmen in a thriller at Alumni Stadium 24-21. Fairfield Union falls to the New Lex Panthers 39-0. Morgan loses tonight to the Wheelersburg Pirates 43-3. Rock Hill falls on the road at Northeastern in Springfield 59-0. East is held off by the Unioto Sherman Tanks 21-12. They hold on to take down the Tigers. Zane Trace falls on the road to Columbus Academy 35-23. And Indian Valley in final here takes down the Washington Blue Lines 57-14. As we now welcome the Sarge, Ethan Sargent, to the program in from Jackson's Alumni Stadium. You seem dry. That's good.
Yeah. It did. The rain held off for I would say
most of the game,
most if not all of the game. It was honestly a really nice night. It was a very normal, calm temperature, a little bit warmer, honestly, than you're used to, I guess, at this time of year.
Yeah.
So, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Well, get us up to speed. What did we see from the Ironmen? Again, moments away from being joined by Dan Morrow as well here on the broadcast. But what did we see from the Ironmen tonight from the Sarge's perspective?
Yes, I mean, what a game. You just have to start with that. An unbelievable finish at the Alumni Stadium. This one is gonna, again, I don't want to speak for my friends over at Miami Trace, but I have a feeling that this one's gonna sting for a long time out there in Trace. I mean, where do I start? Just an unbelievable game. We'll start out in the first half. Jackson went down the field, scored on their opening drive after forcing a 3-and-out for the Panthers, and you're thinking, oh boy, this
another long night.
Could be another long night for the Panthers. But honestly, and I'll say this, I thought that Miami Trace's game plan was fantastic. I thought that Coach Williams did a great job. They mixed a lot more passing in than they did in the first matchup.
Yeah.
And that caused a wrinkle that Jackson's defense wasn't expecting, I don't think.
I think it made the run more effective for Miami Trace.
It absolutely did. And they were able to have a lot of success in that department. It was very much a back-and-forth game. Miami Trace would score on their next drive to tie it up, and then Jackson would execute a really nice one-minute drill at the end of the first half to steal 3 points, which proved to be very important later on in this game.
Yeah.
A nice Thatcher Brown 38-yard kick, which was probably good for about 50 yards. He's got some leg on him. But then Miami Trace came out. They got a stop on Jackson's opening drive. Then they went right down and scored. And you're thinking, okay. Miami Trace is like, well, when's the first time we had a lead in a second half against a Jackson team?
Yeah.
So they're able to do that. They move down the field. They got a couple more stops. A lot of very important plays happened. Then they get a punt that's down at the 1-yard line. And you're thinking, right? Could be a safety, could be all that. Jackson gets one play, gets out, and then Ryan Simons, it was his game. Unfortunately, didn't get to catch up to him with him post-game, but it was it was his game, full stop. 95 yards on the very next play to take it the distance, and all of a sudden, after what Miami Trace had, I thought, an unbelievable third quarter. Went exactly where they wanted, controlled the ball, didn't let the Jackson offense do what they would have wanted to do. But Simons just bust one off like that, and you're thinking, oh, man. At this point, there's about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you're thinking, just another Trace heartbreak. But on the very next play from scrimmage,
that's it.
Julian Baker takes it 65 yards to the house, and the pendulum swings right back to the Panthers. And then you would get two really interesting back-to-back drives, which would both end in failed fourth down conversions. The first one would be Jackson getting it to about the Trace, right around the 50, honestly. It was in a 4th and 6. Andy Paul initially was going to punt, but they called a timeout, and I think honestly, Bodie probably slammed the table because he wanted to go for it. He made a good throw, but Miami Trace made a better play on the defensive line to knock the ball off course, and that would be a turnover on downs. And then I want to say about 7 plays later, 4th and 1, Jackson's interior defensive line, which struggled a little bit tonight, made the big play that they needed to make. They got it inside. They were able to stop Cooper Enox, and they got the ball back to the Jackson offense. And Bodie Wolford didn't make the same mistakes twice. That's a drive. That drive that he put together there is a drive that's going to go down in Jackson history. I feel pretty confident about saying that. That is a That is a legacy. You know, they say statue building drive. That is a unbelievable drive. And I did get the chance quickly to catch up with Bodie post game, and he said that play call was 4 verticals, and he was only looking at one guy. And Ryan Simons.
He wore 7.
He wore number 7. He gets open. It was a good throw by Bodie because he put it in the one spot where he knew his guy was going to get it. And Brian Simons, you can go check it out over on Facebook, got a great camera angle of this video. Just a perfect ball and catch. And then Trace's Hail Mary attempt fell short at the end. So just an unbelievable game for the Ironmen, one that's going to be put in the history books for a long time.
You mentioned the game planning of Coach Williams, and I really thought that you're exactly right. Game planning was phenomenal, but game planning against Jackson's one thing. Going out and doing it's a different thing. In Alumni Stadium in a hostile Week 11 environment, or Week 12 environment, I should say, is a completely different thing. This is probably the most well-executed Miami Trace game plan I've seen from the Panthers against Jackson.
Yeah.
In this recent run of kind of misfortunes for the Panthers. I thought that they just did a really good job of keeping Jackson on their toes. I thought the Jackson linebackers at times just looked confused. Just not really sure where to go,
and
what to do, who to tackle.
That's where that pass aspect came into play, because I think that with the pass becoming a bit more of a factor, Trace had a couple of big pass plays in this game, which you're not used to seeing from them. It did kind of force those linebackers to be in two minds a little bit more than they're used to being against Trace. When you're just focused on gaps and closing the run. But I thought the quarterback had a pretty solid game. He was in command of the offense. They did a good job on a number of different passing buildups and plays. And, I think it was a really well-executed game plan. At the end of the day, it was just a couple little things that cost Trace. Just, giving up those 3 points at the end of the half when Jackson got the ball with 57 seconds left. Little things like that. That's what lose you football games. And, again, like I said, it's going to sting for that team. I mean, that's a team that just had a boatload of seniors. They had such a good season. I don't think this loss takes away from that season, but I mean, for both of your losses to come to the same team and the second loss being in the fashion that it was, it'll sting. It'll sting for those guys.
And you mentioned Bodie Wolford to wrap up the game, his connection with Ryan Simets late. Doesn't that just seem like, as they're both just two great seniors at Jackson,
those
sport athletes?
That's what Bodie,
it's fitting way for their final drive to end.
I had about 2 minutes to check in with them and with Bodie specifically, and he said, we just didn't want our season to end. And these seniors showed that, right? They went out there, they battled, and they're going to play next week. They got a tough one out at London. It is, again, for those of you who don't know, the regional semis are not neutral site this year. They are on campus. So Jackson will be at London next week. Won't be at like a Chillicothe or something like that. But that should be a great atmosphere and a great game. And very much looking forward to it. Yeah,
of course, London surviving as well.
They did survive. They very much did survive.
Archbishop McNick, and that'll bring us to some other things, Sarge, as we got Dan Morrow shortly here about to join us, and we'll get to our first break. Anything before we get to the break standing out to you from around the area so far?
I got to give a shout-out to my Buckeyes. I'm going to try and get Rusty Richards on the call here because I know that there may not be a happier man in the 740.
Yeah.
The Revenge Tour, while it's not quite finished yet, they complete the Revenge Tour. All 3 losses from last year have been avenged by the Buckeyes, and that is a team that I think is as motivated as any team in the 740. They are playing some of the best football I've seen them ever play, and I've been watching a lot of Buckeye football over the years. 35 zip. This was there's a phrase, and it goes B2A. And I'm not going to finish what the phrase means, but that's kind of what it was tonight.
Sure was.
The Buckeyes, as they again get a deserved win, and I get to be happy because it means I get to do the Athens County Coaches Show one more time, and I love doing the Athens County Coaches Show. We'll probably have Rusty and a few more bodies in that building over at the Gem on Tuesday night. That'll be fun. Leading right into Bobcat football.
Yeah.
Over on Pure Rock 105, flagship for the Bobcats. We'll have that from 6 to 7, and then right after that, it'll be Bobcat pregame with Marty and Rob and company, and then it'll be Bobcat football, Western Michigan. Big game on Tuesday.
A good old-fashioned Buckdale butt whooping handed out tonight in Buckdale. We'll step aside for our first break of the program. When we get back, a lot of the voices from around the 740 set to join us and kind of update you on your favorite local teams around the area. Keep it right here. You're listening to Football Friday Nights, brought to you by Total Media Sports.
Looking for a bank that puts you first? At Farmers Bank, they've been helping neighbors grow for over a century with personal checking and savings, business loans, convenient online and mobile banking, and customer service that treats you like family. Whether you're planting roots or planning your future, Farmers Bank will help every step of the way. Stop by one of their local branches today and experience why Farmers Bank is your hometown bank since 1904. Member FDIC. Farmers Bank, growing with you.
Need a ride to your medical appointment? Medication ready for pickup? A.G. Hoy, LLC, has you covered. We provide fast, safe, reliable transportation for medical recipients in Hocking, Ross, and Benton counties. And we're proud to announce we're serving Benton County veterans. We thank you for your service. A.G. Hoy is always looking to expand our crew. Apply online or drop anchor at one of these 3 locations today and grab an application. Call 740-596-0536 today to see if you qualify for free transportation. A.G. Hoy, charting a course for care.
The Uptown Clinic powered by Holzer is located at 5 North Court Street in Athens. Nurse practitioner Amy Ward and staff provide walk-in urgent care services, on-site lab testing, primary care services, and much more. If you're on your way to work, class, or back home and need care, stop by the Holzer Uptown Clinic, conveniently located for Ohio University students, staff, and families. That's the Holzer Uptown Clinic at 5 North Court Street in Athens.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
House hunting? Selling? Don't get sacked by stress. Howard Hanna Real Estate and the McNerlin Network team are your real estate MVPs in Jackson. They've got full playbook, mortgage, title, home warranty, insurance, and global marketing that scores big with buyers. No fumbles, no flags, just smooth moves to the end zone of home ownership. Call 740-702-6000. Let Howard Hanna Real Estate and the McNerlin Network team quarterback your next big win.
Need to expand or remodel your building? Increase your inventory or have access to working capital? Let our experienced business loan team help you grow your business. We specialize in business loans. Ohio Valley Bank, a better way to bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at ovbc.com.
Welcome back.
This is Football Friday Kickoff on Total Media Sports, presented by Slarks Collision Center.
Thanks, JB. We appreciate it. Welcome back, Eric Landrum, Ethan Sargent with you live from the Total Media Sports War Room, where we're wrapping up a busy week 12. And want to go ahead and address something real quick. It's our understanding, sitting here in Jackson, that after the game, Coach Hall went down with a medical condition. He was tended to by medical personnel that may or may have not included an ambulance, that type of attention. So, shouts out to, our thoughts are with Coach Hall. Our prayers are with Coach Hall. Just a bit, we're thinking about Coach Hall in the Jackson program at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. For a guy that I know would have been the happiest man in the place, even though I could tell you, and I know for a fact that he would have been frustrated with things that he saw in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He would have, and I remember I was right there. I have a great video of his post game where he's like, you know what? We made a lot of mistakes, but we earned the right to play next week. That's right. The big thing. And I know he'll love nothing more to be on that sideline next week out in London. We really hope he can be. And again, like Eric said, we are hoping and praying for him. All the initial signs that we've heard so far are all good things. So, again, hopefully just a quick lapse and he'll be all right. That's the goal here.
You mentioned there are going to be some things that drive him nuts. And, we talked about Coach Hall and his team felt really good coming out of a bye. He felt very confident. His team felt like they were very prepared, but did have some silly things happen and some things that didn't go their way. And now you're going to be heading to London to take
Can't have those. Absolutely cannot have those.
Well, Well, that's exactly where I was getting ready to take it. Was now you still got your best game that you've yet to play on the table, but you definitely can't do the things you did tonight.
You just cannot. You cannot defend the run like that because you will get gashed. You cannot. A lot of the little things that you did wrong this week just are things that cannot happen next week because that is a team like Miami Trace did punish them. London will punish you more, and if you make those mistakes, you're not coming back from them. Is what I'm saying. Jackson was lucky enough tonight to be able to get into a spot where they were able to make a comeback, and they thanks to the heroics were able to. So. Can't have those next week. But I think, again, Coach Hall, as soon as, again, he's ready and able, he'll be able to get up and take a look at the film, and I think he'll pinpoint a lot of the things that, they need to work on over the course of the week. And, it'll be, again, as long as Coach Hall is okay, I have a feeling it's going to be a fun, and even, I guess, even if it is another coach working that film session, I don't think there's going to be a lot of happy cheering in that film room on Sunday or Monday, because I think there is a lot that they'll pinpoint and say, look, we need to be better in these spots. And this is, again, they can celebrate tonight. They will have earned it because they earned the right to play on Friday. But now, if you want to play past Friday, you have to be able to know where you can fix and improve things, and that's where that whole aspect comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. As we move things along here from Jackson, let's swing it up 35, though, where Unioto takes down Columbus East. The Tigers, they earn a big playoff victory.
Congratulations to that program. I know that win is a long time coming.
Yeah.
And they found a way to get it done at home, which is, again, a huge shout-out to them. The defense, again, doing what it does, holding Columbus East to just 12 points.
Right.
And they, have a fantastic matchup coming up next week with a great new Lexington squad who shut out Fairfield Union 39-0. That's a fantastic game. I would be in contention if we're on the road next week as a spot we could potentially go to, because that is a fun football game between two really good teams, a high-flying offense for the Panthers, a great, tenacious defense for Unioto. I am excited about the prospects of that game. How about it's not really a game between teams that we cover, but the comeback that Licking Valley put on Bloom Carroll was special. Bloom Carroll was up 21-8. 21-8 in the fourth quarter, and Licking Valley tied it with, I believe, less than 30 seconds on the clock. They went to overtime. The first overtime actually led to 2 field goals, and then Licking Valley would be able to punch it in on the opening play of the second overtime, and then Bloom Carroll threw an interception on the ensuing drive. So a crazy finish out there in Newark as the Panthers were able to get it done. And I think now Eric is just going to step off here. We're going to get a third headset on because Dan Morrow is in the building. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Ironmen as they pulled off just another, an instant classic, I think is what they call games like that. And that one is definitely right up there with some of the best in Jackson history. I don't know, when are they commissioning the Bodie DeSimon statue? I feel like we got to get close to thinking about that after that finish, right, Dan? As we get the...
I think so. Honestly, let's just get a nameplate. The Wolford nameplate. Just the nameplate Wolford. We don't need a statue. Just the Wolford nameplate.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you better put some print right under it. Big play, Ryan Simons.
Oh, my.
The connection.
Huge play, Ryan Simons.
And we're going to talk about what a great team effort it was tonight. Offense, defense, special teams, maybe the difference when you think about it on there.
Let's get to it.
But I have said Bodie Wolford, the most accurate passer I've ever seen play for a Jackson Ironman football team. And Ryan Simets, 1-2, as good a receiver as anybody that I've ever seen play for Jackson. That last catch.
How about
cements that. But this year he's had to take on the dual role, and with nearly 200 yards rushing tonight, the 95-yard one was classic.
Wow. We'll get to that.
Yeah, he's going to be close to 1,000 yards rushing. And he's had to sacrifice what would have been phenomenal pass receiving stats this year, but he does it all. He just does it all. And, as good a receiver, as good as running back, he might be the best safety I've seen all season long.
He had some huge plays.
Interception,
a couple of big deflections.
Tackle after tackle. They graded him with having 21 tackles last week. 2 weeks ago in the Chillicothe game.
Wow.
I mean, he just has his noses on the football continually. So, those two guys, we know are stars. We've
heard their
they do
names
it
a
all the
time or
time,
two, right?
But I'm telling you what, our defense has stepped up the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We have played 3 straight games facing a 2,000-yard rusher.
Wow.
Baker.
Does that ever happen?
I don't imagine it ever could have happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Baker, Lagon, Baker. And
wow.
That's an amazing stat.
Yeah.
On there. But this team does amazing things, and we Baker got the one long run, but we held him kind of like Lagon, made him run about 29 times for probably 130 or 40 yards.
Right.
That's a winning situation. He did break the 165-yarder.
It was a very similar output to the first game.
Yes.
Where, again, the first play of the game out at Miami Trace, Baker houses that, 70, 80-yard touchdown, and then you guys contained him for the majority after that. This time the touchdown came a little bit later in the game, but aside from that, he didn't have the big play. It was a lot of 3 to 6 yard runs, which I think if you ask the coaching staff, they would absolutely take 3 to 6 yard runs. And
how about 7 or 8?
Yeah, they would.
I kept saying every time you bring number 0 to the ground, that's a plus play. And I don't care if it's 8 yards or 12 yards or whatever. He didn't go all the way. He did that one time.
Yeah.
As he answered the 95-yard run by Ryan Simets. Talk about excitement. I mean, the crowd,
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. I could tell something huge was about to happen from here because I could hear the stadium from this spot.
That's pretty amazing.
It was very amazing.
It was loud.
Very amazing.
You can hear our public address system announcer on third downs, and I think you can hear him in Colton. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can hear Chris Smalley in Colton.
He's good.
He's
good. Chris
he
does
gets
a good
wound
job.
up. He does a great job.
Yeah, he does.
A great job. But offensive line tonight, Jacob Allen, we know he's a great player. He's been all district, all whatever for 3 years.
Yeah.
But he's played the best football, I think, of his career in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
He's just taking on extremely good football players and winning the battles up there. Offensive line was outstanding. Our 2 big tackles, they're underclassmen.
Yeah.
Both had great blocks tonight.
Great games.
Great games
from
in there.
both tackles.
But I tell you what, Wes Clagg, one of our smaller guys on defense, comes up with the play of the game defensively. It's 4th and 1.
Yep.
If they get that first down,
might have drained the clock.
They could have drained the clock, and what they're celebrating.
Of course.
He gets that tackle. It comes up, 2 inches short,
Very
would you
short.
say, Sarge?
Very
it
short.
was really short on the
There were a
big
few
man.
of those throughout the game. I just watched the replay of the one where Bodie was inches
thought
away
that
from
was a
making
first
the
down.
play of the year on the outside, bouncing off things.
I thought he had it by a yard.
I thought he did too. I don't know about that
So that
spot.
went against us, but the previous 2, the last 2, went our favor by inches.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we took advantage of it. And I'm sure there were people in the crowd thinking Coach Hall is running after, run, play. And we're eating up all the clock that's left. And we're still just inside the red zone.
Yeah.
But you knew a pass was coming.
It had to at some point.
I'm going to motion my stat man. He's going to hand me his stats that nobody in the world can read but himself. Can I have your stats, Mr. Wilson? It gives him such job security.
It really does. Yeah.
And I'm going to try to scratch through them. And I'll be honest. And here's the down part of the night. Coach Hall collapsed after the game.
Yeah.
And in the stands, he was heading up as he does he gets usually interviewed by somebody on the way out of the locker room. Then he immediately goes to his wife, gets a hug, talks to family members, and then comes up and sees us. We did not see it happen, but as he gets to Emily, he kind of blacks out, falls, hits his head really hard.
Oh, man.
We're hoping and praying for Coach Hall that it's maybe a dehydration type thing.
Yeah, of course.
Certainly not a heart issue. We don't want any of that. I went down while Pete was actually reading the stats and talked to his son Bryce, who was here tonight.
Yeah, I saw Bryce down on the sideline.
Yes, and he didn't know much more either. We all don't know much.
Sure,
but
it's early.
They did load him up in the squad and took him off. And talked to CJ a second ago out in the parking lot, and I told him, you tell your dad to send me a text and give me some good news as soon as possible. So that certainly left a little different perspective after one of the greatest games we've ever seen.
Right.
And we started talking afterwards. I mean, we've done every Jackson Ironman. It's the 34th playoff game they've ever done. We've had the luxury to get to do them all.
Yeah. Wow, again.
The Hillsborough 7-3 win back in 1996.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Withrow win is everybody's.
That's my favorite.
Well,
that's my favorite.
This one's right there.
That's what I said.
Right there.
That's
with
what these
the
guys were talking
greatest-
about.
Game-winning touchdown with, 35 seconds on the clock? Game-winning drive?
An unbelievable play.
It was
an
a great
unbelievable
play.
play.
Again, I'm not gonna not to toot my own horn, but if you missed this play, I got a great video of it over on our Football Friday Nights Facebook.
Great.
And you could see the whole play develop, right? Because you could see, and I asked Bodie about this. I was talking to him real quick post game, and he said we called 4 verticals, and I had one guy the ball was going to. Right, it was number 7, and he put the ball up. And I just said this right before our last break. Put it in the perfect spot where he knew that Ryan was the only guy that had a play on that ball.
The thing is, Ryan was pretty well covered.
It was great coverage. It was
Ryan
a great throw.
And a cornerback going up in the air, fighting for position, and I was so hoping they would not have some bogus offensive pass interference call.
Right.
Because
I'm always
Ryan,
a fan of letting the guys play. And
Let 'em play.
I don't think
Let
you
him
can make
play.
a call on that. There was just two good athletes going after the ball, and our guy came down with it.
Yeah. Would have said the same thing if it got picked off.
Yeah.
Like it's
yeah.
I
Well,
think
if
it's
that
just
guy
too,
could have gone a little higher, but
maybe.
Ryan got up there in the air.
He did.
And made a play.
Ryan was well covered all night.
And you know the
And
neat
just
thing
made
too,
play
how
and play.
about the trust Bodie has in Ryan to lay it up in the corner and let your top guy make a play. And that's what they both did.
That's the ball you throw to your guy more than any other ball, that deep ball down the sideline. What do you have for your fourth,
Well,
sir?
I'd let you read this if you thought you could.
I have a hard time with numbers.
Oh, my gosh. 18 first downs for the Ironmen, 15 for Miami Trace. Now, rushing yards, 280 for Jackson, 260 for Trace.
Wow.
We did it in 34 carries. They did it in 46. They had 59 plays to our 53. Each team threw for around 100 yards. We had 363 total yards to their 360. How close is that?
I mean, that's great
unbelievable.
football.
Now, here's the
Great
stat
football.
that is going to be a trademark of this team. Coming into tonight's game, we had a total of 5 turnovers. Our opposition has 14. That means we do 1/2 turnover per game in 10 weeks.
Wow.
We got 0 again tonight.
That's some of the
We
best.
don't turn the ball over. To put that on your quarterback.
Right.
And your running backs. They don't drop if they
Wow.
drop it, we get it. It's
That's a huge statistic.
It is.
That's
It's an
probably up there with the
amazing
best all-time
statistic.
seasons.
I would have to think so.
Oh my gosh.
And that is one thing
5
with Bodie,
turnovers.
who I think that is his 61st career touchdown pass. And he has so few interceptions. I haven't done all 3 years to see what his total of interceptions, but so few. He doesn't
Makes
throw
great
many.
decisions, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But okay, so total yards the same. I mean, what a dogfight. First downs not much different there. Ryan Simetz, 17 rushes, 197 total yards. The 95-yard touchdown run was a thing of beauty.
It was.
Great blocking by the interior part of the line. He ran right behind Jacob Allen and Taylor on that side, and Griffin Leach. Those guys gave him a line to give him about 3 or 4 yards, and then he made a cut toward the Miami Trace sideline.
That was it.
And then has pursuit, and Ryan Simetz gained on all the pursuit angles. He just outran him to the end zone. That was so exciting.
It was a counter blocking scheme that was it was phenomenal. That cutback was great.
A little thing, Ryan, 197 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns rushing, 1 receiving. Obviously, we talked about that one. Bodie Woodford, the 50 yards rushing, that has been a new factor the last couple of weeks. Bodie running the ball. He's healthy now. He was banged up early in the year, and he's healthy and doing a heck of a job. Julian Baker, 30 carries, it could be 79 or 20. I think it was 129 yards. Does that sound right? No, it's probably
I think
179
because
yards.
of the 65
which
yards.
puts him near 2,200 yards for the year, and he had their 2 touchdowns on there.
Wow.
But he's a special player.
He is.
He's strong. And as Coach Hall, we talked in the pregame interview about Ligon from Chillicothe, 22, probably over 2,200 yards. Now Baker right at 2,200 yards, and they're both underclassmen. We got to fool with them again next year.
Deal with them again.
We'll
next
worry
year.
about that next year.
Before we let you go,
Sure.
Thatcher Brown, phenomenal. Phenomenal kicker, but also dual sport athlete. Talk about that.
When's
for a
the
moment.
last time somebody was honorable mention All FAC in football, first team All FAC on a district championship soccer team, all league 2 sports same season?
Wow.
I think he did it 2 years in a row.
I don't think he was.
He wasn't last year.
Football.
Okay.
No.
Okay, football he wasn't. You're right. Soccer he was last year.
Soccer he was.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
He's had
You're
an
right.
outstanding soccer career.
Is that? I don't know of a time.
I'm trying to think how it could happen. There's never been a basketball wrestler. Don't think there's ever been a soccer football player. Baseball track?
That'd be your only other shot.
Yeah. I put Pete Wilson on that, but I'll tell you who's going to go after. I'm going to put Randy Heath on that.
Yeah.
There's a man that will find out if there is a possibility.
Just such great athletes, multi-sport athletes, great kids, man. Anything else you want to throw at us tonight?
Well, don't know how to say this properly. You know, London came out with a very close, hard-fought win.
Yeah.
We weren't sure. Is London like Bishop Watterson last year?
Are they
just
beatable?
Heads and shoulders. You know, are they beatable? Well, McNicholas had a chance against them, and Wheelersburg kicks a field goal to beat McNick in the last seconds. They played Ironton fairly close. I think we're in the ballpark. I think this is a very doable game. If London wins 42-0 to McNick, then we're probably thinking, oh, geez, they are going to be special. But this Jackson Ironman team, we got playmakers, and we're playing our best football right now, which most teams are that are still alive.
Sure.
But let's get a huge crowd heading up to London. It's a
happen.
neat community. Turf field, beautiful looking field.
Yeah.
It should be a lot of fun this week.
Should be a ton of fun.
Everybody out there, say a prayer for Coach Hall.
Yeah. Please.
And let's get him back and hear some good news about that situation. Yeah. And thank you guys. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you extending your Fridays for us. Us low lifes.
Thank you. Ethan, good to see you guys. Appreciate what you guys do. I know you've been at it hard all day long. You were in the pregame down there.
Yeah,
you were in the rain a little bit on that.
Everyone's enduring the elements in week 12.
Absolutely.
That's the way it
is.
It's
been a blessing, a year of football. We've had good weeks all year.
We have. We said that in the pregame.
And the rain knew, because we probably didn't want rain, wind, and that, because we throw the ball a little better than they do. So the rain knew to, stop at Alumni Stadium about the start of the game, and it worked.
It did what it needed to do.
Yes.
Absolutely. Dan Morrow, one of the trio voices of the Jackson Ironman.
We sure had fun tonight.
Thank you, sir.
See you guys.
We appreciate it. Taking the time to join us. We got to get to a break. When we return, more from around the 740 at a busy Week 12. You're listening to Football Friday Nights, presented by Total Media Sports.
When it comes to glass, experience matters, and Pidcock Glass in Nelsonville has over 30 years of it. From windows and doors to custom glass projects, they can handle almost any job. Pidcock Glass is Southeast Ohio's premier service company to call if you're experiencing glass loss or damage. Whether it's your home, business, or special project, trust the experts who've been serving the community for decades. Let Pidcock Glass brighten your day. Call 740-753-4527 or visit pidcockglass.com today. Proud supporters of area high school athletics.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch, and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts, it's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select items at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you're planning for the hunting season, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. Don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully stocked up for any season at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
The Slark family has welcomed drivers through their body shop doors for many years. And now, with the addition of Slark's Tire and Service Center, formerly Jackson Tire, they continue to provide the same great experience, care, and quality you can count on. Our certified technicians bring experience and knowledge and provide fast, expert service with top quality brand tires and parts to keep your car running smoothly and road ready. Reliable, honest, and hassle-free. Visit Slark's Tire and Service at 66 East Broadway Street in Jackson, your local tire and auto repair experts.
Mom, my teacher said some kids don't get new shoes when school starts.
That's why Southern Ohio Soles is so important, honey. They make sure that underprivileged kids start the year with shoes that fit and feel good.
So, if people give money, more kids can have shoes for school?
Exactly. Every dollar helps a child walk into class with pride, ready to learn and ready to thrive.
Can I help too?
Everyone can. Visit www.southernohiosoles.com now and help a kid start school confident and strong.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
Need a ride to your medical appointment? Medication ready for pickup? A.G. Hoy, LLC has you covered. We provide fast, safe, reliable transportation for medical recipients in Hocking, Ross, and Benton counties. And we're proud to announce we're serving Benton County veterans. We thank you for your service. A.G. Hoy is always looking to expand our crew. Apply online or drop anchor at one of these 3 locations today and grab an application. Call 740-596-0536 today to see if you qualify for free transportation. A.G. Hoy, charting a course for care.
Yeah.
Back to more of Football Friday Kickoff on Total Media Sports, presented by Slark's Collision Center.
Welcome back to Football Friday Nights, live from the War Room in downtown Jackson. Just a couple moments removed from having the opportunity to speak with Dan Morrow, one of the trio voices of the Ironmen, the legendary Ironman broadcast team. That is Dan, ANP, Ethan Sargent alongside us now here in the War Room, wrapping up a busy Week 12 in the 7-4-0 playoff games galore. 17 teams that we had remaining in our playoff coverage area, but of course keeping an eye on all regions around the 7-4-0 and even statewide on the night. As Sarge, we've had the opportunity to look at a lot of the scores, all scores final now on the night. What stands out to you?
Well, I mean, we've already talked about it plenty, so I won't talk about it much more. We were at the game of the year. I think we picked we made a good choice.
Good one, man.
We made a good choice. Looking around, we'll start out in Region 28, where unfortunately the dream of the perfect season is over for the Eastern Pike Eagles. They fall short to Fort Recovery, 38-6, the final score there. And we kind of talked about in the pregame how just the physicality might be a little different. That kind of seemed like what it was for the Eagles tonight. Obviously, the weather may not have helped them out too much in the quick passing game, but just a tough one to take, I think, for that program. There's still plenty of trajectory to go upwards for them, and I think they know that.
Right.
But obviously, this one will hurt tonight. I know they wanted their shot at Marion Local, but it'll be Fort Recovery for a MAC matchup next week in Region 28. We did see a couple of other interesting games in our coverage area. Tri Valley took down Hamilton Township 41-27. I mentioned Unioto earlier, still very happy for that squad. Waterford gets a win. One of my more intriguing matchups of next week is Waterford hosting Danville. That is a really good game in Region 27. Yes. That's the defending regional champs in Danville, who, again, they've lost 5 games this year. They're maybe not quite at the same level that they were last year when they won the regional title, but this is a good Waterford team that are playing some of their best football, and Danville's still got a lot of the same bodies. Yes, a lot of the graduates still got a lot of the same bodies. They trounced Fisher Catholic tonight 59-8, so that's a great game. And then you got Hillsdale taking on Sims Valley, who were able to dispatch Trimble. They were a big before Trimble scored a couple of late consolations scores. So, again, I got to shout out Phil Fairs. That's likely the final game of his career. And it finished, it started against Sims Valley and it ends against Sims Valley.
Right.
Pretty poetic, if you ask me. So, huge congratulations to Coach Fairs on, again, what was a stellar career, no matter how many more games he won or lost in this postseason. You got to give a huge shout out to one of the legendary coaches in and around this area. Again, a lot of respect going out to him. We're going to hear from Rusty Richards in just about 10 or so minutes. Again, as a guy who just loves talking to Rusty, I have a couple questions in mind that I think we'll get some good answers for. And I'm excited for the coaches show again. We'll have the coaches show on Tuesday now. So very much looking forward to that. In terms of what else we saw around the state, there was a crazy finish out in the DeSales versus Ashland game. Wild finish, last second touchdown to win that game. Anna took down Mechanicsburg 46-12 as we predicted. Indian Hill put up a big score on Washington, unfortunately, for the Blue Lions. Again, we kind of said in the pregame about how that was it was always a transitional kind of year for the Blue Lions. Winning a playoff game in a transitional year is always a win in my book. You bring back Coach Chuck Williamson, who is a legend. I think you come back with the vision that this was not the year for all the success. I think that comes when you bring a lot of your big guys back next year. I would not sleep on that team in the FAC next season with, bringing back Pfeiffer and bringing back Osborne and a lot of the other talented players on that offense. If they could develop that run game a little bit more, it could be really, really interesting to see how that team looks over the course of 2026. Tippecanoe dispatched of Talawanda 55-7. Coldwater was all over St. Bernard Elmwood 38-0. There were a couple others. I mentioned the Licking Valley game. Unfortunately for Rock Hill, their season comes to a close. Northeastern was all over 59-0. Tough way for the season to end. But again, I think, a successful season for them. Yeah, maybe not quite the way they would have wanted it to end, but a good season to build on, I think, for the Redmen out there in Pedro.
I agree with that, too.
Well, in terms of bigger school news, how about St. X versus Moeller getting set up for next week? Feels like they always find a way to find their way back to each other in the postseason. So,
funny how that works.
They actually took down their respective Lakota schools tonight. Moeller took down Lakota West 33-14. St. X took down Lakota East 42-7. So, should be a good one out there in Cincinnati next week. That'll be at the home of the Crusaders. We didn't really mention Wheelersburg. They took care of business 43-3 over Morgan. It was a little bit of a slow start. It was 7-3 this game. But the Berg, as we figured they would, took care of business. They set up a matchup next week with, I believe, the Barnesville Shamrocks, who dispatched of Portsmouth tonight, shut them out. So that's an interesting matchup. You want to talk about revenge factor. The revenge factor is there and then some for Barnesville. Last year, they were the 3 seed, were upset by a 14th seeded Wheelersburg Pirates squad. The Shamrocks are going to have revenge on your mind. Ooh, here's an interesting tidbit that Tad is telling me here from Nelsonville, York. The star running back that we mentioned for Union Local, Persanowski, did not play tonight.
That's a game changer.
That is a game changer. I didn't see that anywhere. All the previews I read about this game were all talking about how big a player he was. Wow. So that's a huge loss, and probably a big reason why there was a 0 on the scoreboard at the end of the night for Union Local. So that's a tough break. I don't know if that's injury related or if it's suspension or some other thing. Who knows? But that'll be a tough one for Union Local. Again, the final score there, 35-0. NY takes down the Jets, and they get that final revenge factor that they missed out on last season. All 3 teams they lost to last year now have been defeated in 2025. So,
what a goal, and what an accomplished goal.
Yeah, and it's crazy that it's crazy that Union Local just happened to fall into their lap.
And that's the beauty of it. Like your first round of the playoffs, week 12, you get the bye, of course, and week 11. But the way that I cannot wait to talk to Rusty Richards. Yeah. I absolutely cannot wait to talk to Rusty Richards.
Yeah, we're going to hear from him in just a few minutes. It's going to be wild. And we got some good candidates for some big games next week, I will tell you that much. There are some fun matchups out there. from some of the teams in our coverage area. I think we've probably got enough teams to maybe squeeze out one more Friday kickoff. Where that will be is to be determined. There are some good games that I think we very much would consider going to. I think that Unioto New Lex game is looking very intriguing. We'll see what that one ends up looking like, as well as a couple of these other big ones. But
I got one for you. Earlier in the year, when we saw the week 12 or the 12-team playoff shift from 16, we talked about keeping an eye on the teams getting a bye in the first round. As it pertains to teams who got a bye in the first round, they fared very well this evening.
Yes.
Very well this evening. I mean, just across the board, just win after win after win. I think I'm seeing five teams who got first round buys lost out of 32 games.
Yeah, not a lot at all. And I think three of them happened I think three of those were due to MAC schools, Coldwater, Anna, and Fort Recovery.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
It's I guess, yeah, and the other interesting thing is, I believe I saw this. There are only 5 teams that were seeded a 10 or below that are still alive in the whole state.
Oh, wow.
So very interesting to see kind of how that shakes out, right? Because some people were very much advocating go back to 8, right? Which is what it was for so many years before the COVID. So
below 10 or 10 below?
I think it was
just below 10.
I think it was below 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah,
I know.
That's wild.
We didn't mention this one. Columbus Academy took down St. Trace 35-23. That's a good win for the Columbus Academy squad. That sets up what I think is a great game next week between Columbus Academy and Nelsonville, York. Region 19 looks pretty wide open. I think if you're Wheelersburg, you're feeling pretty good. I think if you're NY, you're feeling pretty good. Your Columbus Academy, you definitely feel like you got a shot. Even Barnesville, I think I could see a route to any 4 of those teams winning that region. So, we very well could go out to Ed Miller Stadium once again, take in that one, or I don't know if we trek all the way up to Columbus for that game. That's a little far, but it would be cool to see how the Buckeyes fared next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of good football options across the board, and a little travel never hurt anybody. I got gas money I can give you, Sarge. We'll get on the road if we need to, man. We'll figure out a way in week 13. I mean, there's too much good football left on the table at this point. Too many area teams, too many stories, too many kids. Like we heard from Bodie Wolford, we don't want our season to end. Well, we don't want ours to end either. We're having a pretty good time right along with you. I mean, this is why you do the August and September games right here, man. Seeing all of these seasons come to. This is it. This is what it's all about. And, it's going to be a lot of fun in week 12, no doubt there. Week 13, Sarge. We're going to get to a break, but Rusty Richards
should be
on the back end of things in the 11 o'clock hour. You're definitely going to want to keep it right here and hear from arguably the happiest guy in Athens County, Rusty Richards. We got more from Football Friday Nights, brought to you by Total Media Sports.
Looking for a bank that puts you first? At Farmers Bank, they've been helping neighbors grow for over a century with personal checking and savings, business loans, convenient online and mobile banking, and customer service that treats you like family. Whether you're planting roots or planning your future, Farmers Bank will help every step of the way. Stop by one of their local branches today and experience why Farmers Bank is your hometown bank since 1904. Member FDIC. Farmers Bank, growing with you.
The Uptown Clinic powered by Holzer is located at 5 North Court Street in Athens. Nurse practitioner Amy Ward and staff provide walk-in urgent care services, on-site lab testing, primary care services, and much more. If you're on your way to work, class, or back home and need care, stop by the Holzer Uptown Clinic, conveniently located for Ohio University students, staff, and families. That's the Holzer Uptown Clinic at 5 North Court Street in Athens.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson. Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
House hunting? Selling? Don't get sacked by stress. Howard Hanna Real Estate and the McNerlin Network team are your real estate MVPs in Jackson. They've got full playbook, mortgage, title, home warranty, insurance, and global marketing that scores big with buyers. No fumbles, no flags, just smooth moves to the end zone of home ownership. Call 740-702-6000. Let Howard Hanna Real Estate and the McNerlin Network team quarterback your next big win.
If you want to make your smartphone even smarter, get our new mobile banking app. You can check deposits and deposit checks. It even gives you nearby ATM locations. Best part is, the money stays right here in this area. It's a better way to bank. Ohio Valley Bank, a better way to bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at ovbc.com.
When it comes to glass, experience matters, and Pidcock Glass in Nelsonville has over 30 years of it. From windows and doors to custom glass projects, they can handle almost any job. Pidcock Glass is Southeast Ohio's premier service company to call if you're experiencing glass loss or damage. Whether it's your home, business, or special project, trust the experts who've been serving the community for decades. Let Pidcock Glass brighten your day. Call 740-753-4527 or visit pidcockglass.com today. Proud supporters of area high school athletics.
970 AM and 97.3 FM. The Game. WATH Athens, a Total Media Group station.
Back to more of Football Friday Kickoff on Total Media Sports, presented by Sparks Collision Center.
Welcome back to Football Friday Nights, brought to you by Total Media Sports. Eric Langton, Ethan Sargent with you live in the War Room here, where, well, roughly the same place we started this evening, where, the Jackson Ironmen took down the Miami Trace Panthers 24-21. You said it, Sarge, could be game of the year. We certainly picked it right for once, which was kind of nice for a change. You went through a ton of scores, not only locally around the state here a moment ago. Again, I asked you just a moment ago, anything standing out to you locally, but after you go on through that list, anything
there was one
the
more interesting game locally. It's in Region 12. It's on the other side of that bracket. Baden hung on against Alter, 35-28. Great finish there. So now Baden will face off with Tip City on the other side of that bracket for Jackson fans who are interested in that. So should Jackson pull the upset over London, they'd be in a regional final against, it could be a familiar face in Baden. They've played them before. But if it were Tip City, it would be a new one. As I think now we're going to hear from Rusty here on the show. He should be joining us right now. Rusty, how are we, man? I'm sure we're pretty thrilled. The Revenge Tour is just about rounded up 3 from 3. How's it feel, buddy?
Rusty? You there?
No, we lost him. We'll get him back. I'm sure we'll get him back.
Rough service out in Buckdale.
Yeah, there actually is kind of difficult service at times, but he'll get back to us in just a sec. We'll shift our focus to that game while we get back in contact with him. The big thing that so obviously we mentioned the running back didn't play, which is a big deal, right? But what just impressed me about this team is how well drilled they are up front. Right, they're so good at what they do on the offensive and defensive lines. I've had the pleasure of talking to so many of that squad, and it's just so huge to to have that. As hopefully we'll have Rusty on here, and he can hopefully speak to this a little bit. Rusty, we've talked about this a bunch all year long, just how good that offensive line is. Let's just see if you're there first before we ask you any questions. Do we have you here? We're still working on some tech stuff. As I could get him on
he's connected on our end.
I'll get him on mine. We'll get him working here on my phone in just a sec. Let me work on that. If you want to try it here, we'll do this the old-fashioned way. Give me just a sec here. If you want to. Yeah, there we go. Even better. Yeah, we'll do this the old-fashioned way. Like they did it back in the olden days. So see if we can't get him on here in just a second. We're still trying to work through the issues as we'll see if we get it here. And Rusty, do we have you on the line now?
We got you?
There we are. Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah, we got you now.
Awesome. Well, we're doing this the old-fashioned way. We got you on the line. Let's just start things off with what I said before. The revenge tour is complete. The 3 losses last year have been avenged. You guys shut out Union Local tonight. Just take me through what you had at Boston Field.
Yeah, we caused some turnovers. We caused some early, which led to some scores. And our defense just buckled down. And I don't know what we held in total yards, but it wasn't a whole lot. But yeah, it was just total team effort. I thought we was clicking on our special teams. Got a good return to start the game. Extra points were on spot. Cam was kicking the ball nice and deep, great coverage. And then, like I said, our offense and defense played well too. So we played well in all 3 phases, and that usually means good things happen. So very pleased with our execution tonight.
Yeah, according to Tad, allegedly the big running back Perzanowski for Union Local didn't suit up tonight. How? Obviously you guys, I'm sure, would have majorly prepared for him throughout the course of the week. What was kind of the feeling when you go through the first couple drives, you don't see him on the field?
Yeah, we'd actually heard something here throughout the day that something was going on with, like I said, some kind of discipline issue or something. I'm not sure. But again, like I told our boys, I told our captain, said, hey, they're not going to lay down just because he's not playing. The Snyder boy runs real hard, number 6. They got a nice quarterback. We still prepared the same. Like I said, he's a good back, but we thought we won up front. So it would have been tough sledding for him anyway. We were hitting our backs in the backfield a lot of the night. So unless he could just run through 3 or 4 kids at a time, which we usually tackle pretty well. I don't think he would have did that. But it played a little bit of a factor. But like I told him, I said, hey, there's some kid that way in that locker room ready to step up and get his carries. And but again, we just started off the game with I think Caleb Layton caused the fumble the very first play of a game, running the kid down.
Smiles.
And we get smiles, yeah. So, but yeah, we won up front on both sides of the ball. And yeah, that's going to win a lot of football games. And we won the turnover margin. So, usually that ends in a win for whoever does that.
You always talk about this when we hop on the coach show or we're talking about things off the air. How important it is to win up front. No matter if you're playing, the smallest D7 school or the top D1s, usually winning up front is going to win you a lot of football games. And you guys, according to you, did that tonight. Just, again, maybe for the wider audience we have here Friday night, just explain just how good this offensive and defensive line is.
Yeah, like I said, it starts up front, and these guys are just paving holes. And, and then also you got to give credit to our running backs. Dakota Cunningham had 60 or 70 tonight. He had our first 3 touchdowns, and he made a couple of just nice cuts, just little jump cuts to the left or the right. Ran through tackles. Walker Stone got hit 2 yards in the backfield and turned into about a 28-yard run. We just wear people down. So, Austin and Dakota set him up. And then when Walker comes in, if they don't hit him with the top of their shoulder pads, they're not bringing him down. And then, our Cam's just got better. Sullivan, our quarterback, has got better every week. And, man, he made some, I don't know what his final stats. I think he was like 130 or something. But honestly, we dropped a 45-yard pass and a couple other ones. So, he should have probably been up over around 200. But he hit the tight end. He hit Austin out of the backfield. He hit Alec. I know Holden had a catch. So, again, he's throwing to multiple people, and he's just making good decisions. And, we come out first play of the game, and we look up, and they're playing cover 0 against us, which means for people who don't know, there's no safety in the middle of the field. So they're just trying to play man-to-man. And, we hit Levy on a crossing route for 27 yards right off the rep. And, next thing you know, we're down around the 30-yard line trying to punch it in to score. So we had a great first drive and set the tone. And then the first play on defense, we caused a fumble. So, and it's 14-0 before you can blink. So that's a good way to start off. And, proud we got to send our seniors out the right way on Boston Field. They went undefeated here this year, 6-0. And, we'll go see what we can give Columbus Academy next week.
Yeah, obviously, I think that's a big thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Obviously, I know how much of a sore taste it left in your mouth for the season to end the way it did last year. Losing on Boston Field in dramatic fashion, of course, and to get the win in the fashion that you did tonight must have felt good for a lot of those seniors that were involved in that game, felt the heartbreak, but now they could feel the joy of getting that playoff win and defending home field. And, you'll, barring some upsets, no, you won't. No, you're done on Boston Field because obviously
we're done on Boston Academy
is done. So unbeaten on that field, I'm sure will feel great for that senior squad.
Yeah, I got it was nice to after going to the interviews and stuff for Gridiron Glory and all that fun stuff. Just a joy to watch those seniors walk that field the one last time. And we got to do that last year against Athens in week 10, but that wasn't our last time. So you still look back like, man, we didn't send our seniors out just right. By losing that game last year. But, like you said, we got our revenge tour. We was 8-3 last year, and we got the chance to see all three teams and got to knock them off, all three of them. So, again, now we're playing with house money now. We're going to be up Columbus next week. They got a fine ball club, but we do too. And, I just hope whatever we do, we just make it a tough out for whoever notches out, make them earn it, and I think, our kids, we're hard-nosed kids, make them, like I said, Cam's throwing the ball. We're playing pretty good coverage. Alec Thompson had 2 picks, 2 interceptions tonight. We keep playing like that. We're going to be a hard out for somebody, and they're going to at least know when they wake up in the morning that, they played a little bit of Buckeye football. I guess it's the way we like to play it. Be a little sore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys, if there's nothing I know about Nelsonville York football, y'all like to hit. So that'll be the mantra. Last thing I got for you, Coach, before I let you go celebrate this win. Any sort of initial impressions on what you've seen out of? Obviously, you wouldn't have done any quite as extensive a scouting this week as you'll do over the next 48, 72 hours. But what are your first impressions on that matchup? Obviously, we'll talk. The lucky thing is we'll have a coach's show on Tuesday, yes, Rusty. Absolutely. We'll have some fun down at the Gem Sports Bar. But you can give me. Oh yeah. Well, we love it, but I think obviously you'll have a lot more better perspective that day after you watch a bit more film.
Yeah,
but
I tracked some film down. Actually, I tracked some film down about a week ago. I've not watched the snap. Our eyes are all 100% on 100% on Union Local. I got all weekend to watch film. I watched a little college football tomorrow, but my eyes will be on Columbus Academy. I think we got 6 films on them, so that's going to be plenty enough to get tendencies. And a lot of it, if you can play the way you want to play, you can dictate the game. So the last couple of weeks we've got to dictate how we want to play. So as long as we're able to do that with our offensive defensive line, then make them adjust to us. But so we're going to get a good game plan. Whatever we pulled a couple tricks out tonight. Austin got the air, had a 27-yard touchdown pass. He threw a strike to for the last touchdown to Alec Thompson, and
nice.
So that was pretty cool. We got all those seniors, the skilled guys. We pretty much got them in the end zone tonight somehow.
Yeah.
We'll know a lot more on Monday after I get 2 days worth of watching film, and I think some of our assistants on that bye week to watch a little bit, but. Again, I was just one game at a time, especially this time. We can't really look ahead, So I know they got a good ball club by looking at scores, and they play a tough schedule. But hey, like I said, I know they got a couple kids getting some big time looks. But hey, maybe our 22 can be better than their their couple top kids or whatever. So we go in there as a team and play as a team. Like I said, we're gonna be tough to be knocked out of the playoffs here as long as we keep playing together as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, I'll let you go celebrate tonight. Thanks so much for hopping on with us. Enjoy the win, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. All right, have a good night, Rusty. Thank you. Always great to hear from Rusty Richards, the head man of the Buckeyes. And I'm glad we talked to him because it means we get to do a coach's show on Tuesday. And I do love going to the Gem Sports Bar. They do a great job.
Yeah.
And the Buckeyes, again, focusing on them, if they play to the best of their ability, I really do think they can hang with anybody in that region. And that includes Wheelersburg. I really think that, and I said this kind of off air, I feel like now's an okay time to put it on air as we're in the Final Four. I think they're the best team that matches up with Wheelersburg at this point in the postseason in that region. You think about what Wheelersburg's MO is, right? They don't have any sort of superstars, but they play well-drilled, well-oiled football. They're great on both the offensive and defensive lines. Mm-hmm. Disciplined, right? A lot of those same characteristics apply to Nelsonville York, right? Now, would Wheelersburg be the toughest line that NY's faced all year? Absolutely. Sure. But could NY hang around and make things difficult? Absolutely, at the same point. So, as long as they would be able to keep a cap on the big plays, which NY has done a pretty good job of all year long, I think that team is fully capable of competing with Wheelersburg. And obviously, again, they got to get by Columbus Academy. Just like Rusty just said, they were only focusing on Union Local this week. Will they probably go out there and get a Wheelersburg or Burnsville film or two? Yeah, they probably will. But they're going to be 100% focused on Columbus Academy this week. And that's a great matchup up in Columbus. Two really good teams. I think both of them I honestly, right now, calling it off the rip, I think it's a pick 'em heading into next Friday. I really don't know if you can pick an outright winner at this point, just because I think both of those teams are pretty close to each other in terms of talent level, in terms of ability, in terms of execution. They played two very tough schedules. Both teams have played good opponents so far throughout the year. So, Columbus Academy gets a tough win against what I would say is probably a little bit tougher of an opponent tonight than NY, especially down the running back for Union Local. Zane Trace, obviously been very good running the football all year. Columbus Academy kind of just able to outduel them 35-23, but should be a great matchup next week. Very excited to see who comes out on top in that one. And obviously for Wheelersburg, they can't look ahead as well. Barnesville will be very motivated after what happened last year.
Yeah. And, well, going back to Nelsonville, York's opponent, Columbus Academy, I look at who they took on tonight, the Zane Trace Pioneers, and I promise you I'm not trying to knock Zane Trace. I don't know if Nelsonville York plays Zane Trace to give up 23 points to the Pioneers.
I'm not sure either.
I don't know that they do, and I have to think that that Nelsonville York fares very well against the Vikings next week. I mean, it is, like you said, Sarge, it's, you got to go on the road to Columbus Academy. We haven't exactly dove into this matchup by any means, so it's early, but I favor Nelsonville off the top of my head in that matchup.
Yeah.
In next week, I love what they do. Hitting guys in the backfield makes life so difficult for offensive line, for quarterbacks, for running backs, for receivers.
A better clip than almost anybody in the 740 or really
it's
the
perpetual.
Whole state.
It's play after play.
I think they have over 120 tackles for loss.
When the other part of it is they don't. We watch Jackson against nothing against the Ironmen, but we watch Jackson tonight make play after play in the backfield.
There were a couple of missed tackles,
but they're not making the play in the backfield. You hit the guy, but he bounces off and then he picks up 3 yards. That's a net 8. Nelsonville York doesn't make that mistakes. Nelsonville York tackles exceptionally well. I don't know that it's quite where like the Wheelersburg level of defensive pursuit and tackling is, but Nelsonville York does it at a high level. And I have to think we never pried out a Rusty Richards, but he'd love to take on the Wheelersburg Pirates. That
absolutely
they would love to take on the Wheelersburg Pirates.
I guarantee you I'll talk to him about it on Tuesday. It won't be on the air, but I'll talk to him about it.
Sure.
Because it'll be something where he understands that. I think that Rusty really knows and understands this senior class that he's got at NY is one of the better ones they've had in a long time.
It's a very good team.
And this is a team that I think is so motivated, right? Especially after last year with what happened with that team. I think they were somebody who we talked about the revenge tour, right? And they've now completed the revenge tour. And Rusty said they're playing with house money. Would they still be disappointed if they lost? Absolutely, right? This team wants to win. Again, the last time NY went into the playoffs at 10-0, they won the region. And it was back in 2017. They beat Cole Grove in that regional final. So they absolutely have a shot to do that again. Against this Wheelersburg squad, if it comes to that, or even Barnesville, and they got to take care of Columbus Academy first. So, again, like I said a few minutes ago, I think this region is very wide open. I could really see, obviously, I would say Wheelersburg are the favorite, but there is a path for all 4 of these teams to win the region.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's a matter of matchups and stylistically, and we watched a team. We watched 2 teams tonight that play very similar styles of football, that played very similar styles of football in week 9, and these games went 2 completely different ways. So, any given night, your guys show up, if they make the stops they need to make and the plays they need to make, and they match up well with that opponent, it's anyone's given, especially in this region. You've eliminated Ironton, and Wheelersburg took down Ironton. Who's to say that they're not the quote-unquote new fighting tigers, so to speak, the new Ironton in this region? Because
absolutely.
They've looked unbeatable at times as well. I mean, they're doing really, really good things. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. But if I had my pick, it would be that 1 seed Pirates and the 3 seed Nelsonville York Buckeyes in week 14. Yeah. That would just be epic.
Here was that stat I was mentioning earlier about the high seeds. Of 112 teams that are still playing in regional semis next week across the 28 divisions, 5 are higher than an 8 seed. That's just 4%. The 5 teams are all in Division 5 or lower. It's Marymount, who are an 11 seed in Region 20. Cary, who are a 9 seed in Region 22. Danville is an 11 seed in Region 27. Fort Recovery is a 12 seed in Region 28. And Cedarville are the 11 seed in Region 28. They pulled off the upset tonight over Cincy Country Day as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good statistic to have. That's good information to have. I don't necessarily know that I love it taking away from the 12-team playoff. I like the 12-team playoff. I like awarding.
Oh, they'll stick with this
you know
for
what
a
I mean?
minute. I'm not necessarily advocating against it either. I think that when you look at how everything shakes out, I think it makes more sense. 16 was just far too much, and I've said this really ever since the debate happened. But I think you have Again, I actually asked all the coaches I did in my preseason interviews about this, and the majority of them said, yeah, I voted for it because I think it gives us an opportunity. And now Rusty and Andy were both two coaches who benefited from the bye.
Yeah.
Because they both, who I talked about, both of those coaches approved of the bye when I talked to them about it because they gave their guys an extra week of rest, and it gives them a chance to reset, get a couple of guys healthy that maybe wouldn't have been had they played the first week. And, I think it gives some good opportunities to some of those lower seeds. So, we'll see. I don't think that they'll change off this, at least for a few years.
I agree with that. Wholeheartedly agree with that. 5 teams that did not have a bye in the first round out of 36 lost tonight. So if you have a bye, your odds exponentially increase in getting to week 13. We're going to step aside for a moment. When we return, final thoughts from the War Room. We'll get you some of these scores from region to region. Keep it right here. You're listening to Total Media's Football Friday Nights.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch, and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts, it's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select items at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you're planning for the hunting season, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. Don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully stocked up for any season at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
The Slark family has welcomed drivers through their body shop doors for many years. And now, with the addition of Slark's Tire and Service Center, formerly Jackson Tire, they continue to provide the same great experience, care, and quality you can count on. Our certified technicians bring experience and knowledge and provide fast, expert service with top quality brand tires and parts to keep your car running smoothly and road ready. Reliable, honest, and hassle-free. Visit Slark's Tire and Service at 66 East Broadway Street in Jackson, your local tire and auto repair expert.
Mom, my teacher said some kids don't get new shoes when school starts.
That's why Southern Ohio Soles is so important, honey. They make sure that underprivileged kids start the year with shoes that fit and feel good.
So, if people give money, more kids can have shoes for school?
Exactly. Every dollar helps a child walk into class with pride, ready to learn and ready to thrive.
Can I help too?
Everyone can. Visit www.southernohiosoles.com now and help a kid start school confident and strong.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
Need a ride to your medical appointment? Medication ready for pickup? A.T. Hoy, LLC has you covered. We provide fast, safe, reliable transportation for medical recipients in Hocking, Ross, and Benton counties. And we're proud to announce we're serving Benton County veterans. We thank you for your service. A.T. Hoy is always looking to expand our crew. Apply online or drop anchor at one of these 3 locations today and grab an application. Call 740-596-0500 536 today to see if you qualify for free transportation. A.T. Hoy, charting a course for care.
The Uptown Clinic powered by Holzer is located at 5 North Court Street in Athens. Nurse practitioner Amy Ward and staff provide walk-in urgent care services, on-site lab testing, primary care services, and much more. If you're on your way to work, class, or back home and need care, stop by the Holzer Uptown Clinic, conveniently located for Ohio University students, staff, and families. That's the Holzer Uptown Clinic at 5 North Court Street in Athens.
This is Football Friday Kickoff on Total Media Sports, presented by Slarks Collision Center.
Yeah, it is. Welcome back. You're listening to Football Friday Nights, brought to you by Total Media Sports here in the War Room. Eric Landrum, Ethan Sargent with you, wrapping up Week 12 action from across the 740. Going to go ahead and bring you a few scores from around the area, region to region here. Let's go ahead and throw it over to Division 3, Region 11 for a moment. The Granville Blue Aces fall to the Bishop Watersing Eagles 56-0. Bloom Carroll falls in heartbreaking fashion at Licking Valley to the Panthers 31-24. Your final. Buckeye Valley falls on the road to the Steubenville Big Red. Final score 51 for the Big Red, 21 for the Buckeye Valley Barons. Hamilton Township falls to the Tri-Valley Scotties, 41-27 in Tri-Valley. Down to Region 12, Division 3 here. London holds on to beat Archbishop McNicholas 17-14. Tippecanoe, the Red Devils take care of business. That was the Talawanda Brave, 55-7. The Red Devils get it done. Kettering Alter falls to the Baden Rams for the second time this season, 35-28. Your final there. Jackson holds on to beat Miami Trace 24-21, thrilling fashion in that ball game. Division 4, Region 15, Fairfield Union travels to New Lexington and falls to the Panthers 39-0. Shutout victory for New Lex. Indian Valley Braves take care of the Circleville Tigers 48-14. Your score, the Braves with the victory over the Tigers. The Johnsonville Johnnies fall to Jonathan Alder 42-21. Your final. Chillicothe Uniogo Sherman take down the Columbus East Tigers 21-12. Down in Region 16, Division 4 for just a moment here. Indian Valley takes down the Washington Courthouse Blue Lions 57-14. The Valley View Spartans knock off the Cincinnati Wyoming Cowboys 31-21. Your final in that game. Cincinnati Christian Hills Academy, the Eagles knock off Brookville Blue Devils. Final score 43-21. The Cincinnati Taft Senators take down Clinton Massey 44-7. The outcome of that game surprised me quite a bit. Not that I didn't think Taft would win. My goodness, that's taking care of a perennial powerhouse in Division 4. Down to 519 here for just a moment. Wheelersburg takes care of the Morgan Raiders 43-3. Columbus Academy holds on to beat Zane Trace 35-23. Two shutouts to wrap up the region. Nelsonville York, the Buckeyes take down Union Local 35-0. And Barnesville shuts out the Portsmouth Trojans 34-0. Down to Division 6 for just a moment here. Region 23, Centerburg knocks off the Ridgewood Generals 28-14. Your final. Caldwell falls to the Fort Fry Cadets in Beverly 28-14. Toronto goes on the road and loses a heartbreaker to West Jeff 21-20. Your final in that football game. Colonel Crawford goes on the road and takes down the Mount Gilead Indians 42-8. Nice win for Colonel Crawford there. Down to Region 24 for just a moment. Portsmouth West season comes to an end to the Tri-Valley Patriots 54-22 in that one. Rock Hill falls to the Springfield Northeastern Jets 59-0. Anna and Coldwater both pick up victories in convincing fashion. Anna defeats Mechanicsburg 46-12. Coldwater, the Cavaliers knock off the St. Bernard Elmwood Place Titans 38-0. We'll wrap it up with Division 7 here. Region 27, Canton Valley falls to Hillsdale 63-6. Strasburg Franklin falls to the Waterford Wildcats 42-7. Dansville picks up a road victory in Lancaster over the Fisher Catholic Fighting Irish 59-8. Your final from the Blue Devils there. Trimble falls on the road, and their season comes to an end in Willowwood, 41-12. The Vikings of Sims Valley take down the Trimble Tomcats. Down to Region 28 for just a moment. Marion Local takes down the top passer in the country, and the Lehman Catholic Cavaliers, 42-12. New Bremen falls to St. Henry, 14-7. Cedarville goes on the road for the second time in 2 weeks and picks up another road victory, this time over Cincinnati Country Day. The Nighthawks, 49-21, your final there. And the final game, final score of the evening, Division 7, Region 28, Fort Recovery knocks off the Beaver Eastern Eagles, 38-6. And that's pretty much every score from around the area. 36 huge games in the night. And just like that, well, we're now looking at half that number, Sarge.
Yeah, some real good games coming up next week. That I guess now we get into our last kind of half hour here on the show. We can start to look ahead to what we're going to see in next week. We'll start out up in Division 3 in Region 11, where you will have the that is Region 12. This is Region 11. It will be Bishop Watterson. The reigning state champs will take on Tri-Valley. Again, we're still at home sites this week. Neutral sites don't start till the regional finals this year. So every team will, that was another caveat of the byes, is that those bye teams still get the chance to host 2 home games, right? Potentially. So Bishop Watterson will be at home against Tri-Valley. Licking Valley will be at home against Steubenville. That should be a great game. Over in Region 12, London will be at home against Jackson, and Tippecanoe will be at home against Baden. Those are 2 very good games in that region as well. Going down to Division 4, it'll be New Lexington hosting Unioto. The Sherman Tanks will be on the road facing off with the Panthers. And then the reigning state champions in Division 4, also coming from a 7-4 region. It's the Gnadenhutton Indian Valley Braves. They are hosting Jonathan Alder, which should be a good matchup in that region as well, taking on New Lex and Unioto. Over in Division 5, in Region 19, we've got the Nelsonville York Buckeyes will be on the road facing off against the Columbus Academy Vikings, I believe.
Yes,
that will be a good one up in Columbus. And then Wheelersburg will be taking on Barnesville at Ed Miller Stadium on the other side of that bracket. Over in Division 6 in Region 23, it is going to be Centerburg hosting Colonel Crawford. And then this is another contender for Game of the Week. Fort Fry hosting West Jefferson. Could not be 2 more contrasting teams hosting facing off against each other in week number 13. That matches up to be a great game. West Jeff, like we said a second ago, won in dramatic fashion against Toronto. Very late touchdown to help them get the win. There were plenty of dramatics around the area today. Let's go over to Region 24, where Springfield Northeastern will face off with Anna, and then Tri-Village will face off with Coldwater as the Coldwater Tigers will look to continue their, I guess you can call it Cinderella run, but are they really Cinderella? Not really.
As Cinderella as Coldwater gets.
Yeah. As looking over in Region 27, Hillsdale will host Sims Valley, and Waterford will host Danville. And then over in 28, Marion Local will face off with their Midwest Athletic Conference foe, Fort Recovery, and also from the Midwest Athletic, St. Henry. Or no, they're not in the Midwest Athletic. They're not.
I almost did that earlier.
Yeah, they're in
so
the
easy with them.
PAL or something like that. Well, they host Cedarville, they pulled a big upset over Cincinnati Country Day earlier today. So that should get you all the big games that we've got across our area. Looking around the state at some bigger games. You've got Olentangy Orange against the defending state champions Olentangy Liberty next week. That one will be huge. That will be at the home of the Pioneers. That's a huge game. Ohio University commit Levi Davis is the quarterback for the Orange. He's a great football player.
Yes.
Olentangy Liberty, the defending state champs, they had a slow start to the year after, obviously, they lost a lot of big keys from that state title winning team. But they've got a chance to, once again, they upset. They were able to take down Olentangy 17-0 in the 4-5 matchup in this region earlier today. This is Region 3, by the way. Orange was able to take down Olentangy Berlin 43-14. Over in the more Cincinnati-focused area, I mean, you want to talk about 4 powers here in Region 4. Elder hosts Princeton next week, and then it is is the Holy War. Moeller hosts St. Xavier in what is always a classic. They've played in the playoffs a lot over the last years with how Region 4 usually sets up, and this time it'll be a 4-5 matchup. Moeller did defeat Xavier, I believe, 35-21 earlier this year, so should be another great installment in that one. Let's go down to the Division 2 matchups just to take a quick peek at those as well. Hoban did not struggle tonight much. They shut out Boardman 38-0. They'll host Hudson next week, whilst Jesuit also didn't have to break a sweat against Nordonia. They won 49-18. They'll play against Austintown Finch. This was an interesting one. Big Walnut was all over Walnut Ridge 43-0, and then Canal Winchester just about was able to take down Westerville South. That one was a 28-21 win for the Canal Winchester squad. So that sets up a very good game next week between Big Walnut and Canal Winchester. And then on the other side of that bracket, DeSales, one of the games of the night, between them and Ashland, late touchdown for DeSales, who, of course, their quarterback is R.J. Day, who is Ryan Day's son. They are in the regional semifinals. They're taking on Massillon, which is a very, very good school, won the state championship a couple of years ago. I believe R.J. is just a freshman as well. He's either a freshman or a sophomore. He's still very young, but he's been doing a great job for that DeSales squad as they continue to move forward in that region. Looking at some of the other ones in D3 as well that we haven't mentioned. I really like the winner of D12 to go and win the state. I really do. I mean, look at it. There are a couple of good ones. Toledo Central Catholic is still around. Wapakoneta is still in there in Region 10. We've seen them be a factor in some of these other regions when they drop down or come back. Obviously, Watterson is the favorite. Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, you're good.
But Watterson will be the favorite.
I didn't know.
But again, any of those other teams could potentially pull a shock. Of course. But Watterson would be the favorite there. West Branch and Perry are both still alive in Region 13. Over in Region 14, you've got Shelby, who are one of the proverbial favorites. And then, don't look now, but here come Perkins. Once again, the state champions, or the state runners-up, from last year, who fell in dramatic fashion to Indian Valley in the final championship game of 2025. By the way, the final championship game this year is Division 5. It is the very last game, so that's the late night matchup out in Canton. Again, TBD on coverage for that. One of our teams has to get there first. But last year it was a great day going out there, being able to cover that Ironton State Championship win was a fantastic day. A very cold day down in Canton, but it was very cool to be able to get that coverage and hopefully, one of the Wheelersburgs or Nelsonvilles or something like that can make a run out there to the state title game, and maybe one of our other teams makes a run. Maybe maybe Waterford wants to go take a shot at Marion Local up in Canton. Maybe something like that. I did call that. Remember, we have to go back and pull those predictions from that episode and see if any of them hit.
You had two regional final winners.
I did say we'd have two, and that is still very much alive. That is still very much alive. Obviously, still 2 weeks to go before we know anything. But I think the big thing is we have a lot of teams that have real shots at making big runs. Even in the regional semis, we've got, I believe, about 10 to 15 teams that are left still playing football, and I think that's tentatively probably still enough to keep the show going for next week. Nothing set in stone just yet. But it is there are a couple good sites we could always throw the game to. We could always also do it out of the studio as well. And there is plenty of big games to preview next week. Of course, the Ironmen out in London to face off with Jackson. Again, we're still thinking about Coach Hall. Hopefully he is doing well. Right. Again, hopefully he's all right to go out and coach that game. And if it were up to Coach Hall, he'd probably have a film tablet in his hand right now. So
he may.
He may well have one at the moment. It wouldn't shock me.
He may. I'll just put it like that. So Coach Hall, man, he may.
The life of Coach Hall revolves pretty solely around football. So,
he loves his football, man.
He does love him some football, and again, we're really thinking of him. We hope he is okay. The Ironmen will be playing out in London. Should be a good one. Baden and Alter's a good game as well on that bracket, and if that Nelsonville game at home, we could definitely would have looked to go to Boston Field, but obviously that going up to Columbus again, we could hitch the wagons potentially, but we'll have to see. I think the Unioto New Lex game is very intriguing. I think Unioto has a real shot to pull an upset in that game. And it's not against New Lex. It's just, I think that defense, they've only given up 40 points they've only given up now 52 points all year. Just the measly 52 through 11 games. I think that's pretty good. Can you imagine the party that's going on in that town tonight?
Oh, man, they're having fun.
They haven't, that's their second playoff win ever. It's technically I think they'll be partying like it's their first playoff win ever.
I saw the sigh of relief on the faces of those young men. It looked like their first playoff win.
Well, I will say, and this is a little bit of bad news. I did hear this on the sideline. Jackson Zickafoos did leave that game with an injury.
That's not
and it is, from what I've heard, I don't want to disclose any details that I don't know 100% yet, but from what I heard, it is not a bounce back up injury. It is something that may well keep him out. So that is a tough loss. One of the better receivers for that Unioto offense looks likely to be done for the duration of the postseason, which is just a backbreaker for them next week. Obviously, they're going to have to rely a little bit more on Corey Braden. Maybe Isaac Coy will find some other receivers. Talked about Brandon Harsha and how valuable he's proven to be as a freshman. We'll see if they get him and maybe some other guys involved out on the outside. But that's your number one target that they lose for Isaac Coy. And they're showing this replay again. This play got Jackson a couple times. We've got the replay up here of the fake. It was the play action fake, and it got it got number 4 and number 7. 7 is Simons, but it got them both.
They fake the bubble screen from the slot, and the corner jumps it, if I'm not mistaken.
Again, what I will say, and while we're
secondary,
we're rolling this back to watch it again. They ran this play in the first half, and it got called back. It was a touchdown, and it got called back for an illegal formation. Or no, not illegal formation, illegal man downfield. So if you see here, they run the bubble, and you're exactly right. Both the safety and the corner bite down on the bubble screen. That's something that I think London will be watching in film this week. And they'll pay attention to that. But on the same side, Jackson will pay attention to that. They'll know that, look, you can't bite. Watch, both players bite. Both the linebacker and the safety bite.
I'm trying to see. Was his knee down at the time he catches the football?
It might have been. I know I did hear a couple of coaches on the sideline yelling about that.
I didn't even catch that in real time earlier.
Yeah, his knee may well have been down. There were a couple of, again, I thought the spot on that Bodie one was.
I thought that one was missed.
I thought he got that first down. It was a heck of a play by Bodie.
Nonetheless.
Just a phenomenal to even make that a decision is phenomenal.
It's funny you say that, Sarge, because I'm going to go ahead and show you a real time again from our. What do you think? It looks like feet still in the air. It looks like a cross. I don't know.
It looks like a first down.
Again, by the way, it's nice that we can sit here and quarterback from the couch this and referee from the couch.
It's very tough to call in real time. I know refs. I did a package on this a couple years ago about how. It's tough to be a ref, right? I'm never one who's going to go out and outwardly blame refs for decisions because look, they catch a lot of flack. They catch a lot of flack, right? But at the same time, it's always you're allowed to call it out. I think when when there is a mistake, and we try not to discuss it in too heavy detail just because we don't want to call anything out like that, but. You want to focus on the players on the field.
When you're perfect and don't make mistakes like us, right? We've never made mistakes. That's just the way it goes. So, yeah. We got to get you to our final break of the show. When we return, final thoughts from the War Room on what has been a busy week 12 around the 7-4-0 in the OHSA high school football playoffs. More when we return. Keep it right here. You're listening to Football Friday Nights, presented by Total Media Sports.
House hunting? Selling? Don't get sacked by stress. Howard Hanna Real Estate and the McNerlin Network team are your real estate MVPs in Jackson. They've got full playbook, mortgage, title, home warranty, insurance, and global marketing that scores big with buyers. No fumbles, no flags, just smooth moves to the end zone of home ownership. Call 740-702-6000. Let Howard Hanna Real Estate and the McNerlin Network team quarterback your next big win.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
Over the years, we've been asked a lot of questions. Like, why is our bank any different than those big city financials? After all, most banks offer the same products and services. The difference is our people and our service. We give you the one-on-one, first-name, friendly service that you deserve. Ohio Valley Bank, a better way to bank. Member FDIC. Visit us online at ovbc.com.
When it comes to glass, experience matters, and Pidcock Glass in Nelsonville has over 30 years of it. From windows and doors to custom glass projects, they can handle almost any job. Pidcock Glass is Southeast Ohio's premier service company to call if you're experiencing glass loss or damage. Whether it's your home, business, or special project, trust the experts who've been serving the community for decades. Let Pidcock Glass brighten your day. Call 740-753-4527 or visit pidcockglass.com today. Proud supporters of area high school athletics.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch, and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Deere, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
This is Football Friday Kickoff on Total Media Sports, presented by Swartz Collision Center.
Welcome back. You're listening to Football Friday Nights, brought to you by Total Media Sports. It's Eric, it's Ethan Sargent with you in the War Room. We're wrapping up we got the recaps on, man. Reruns of tonight's games. If you want to watch some of the action or tune into some of the action you may have missed tonight, or maybe you were there, tune into Total Media Sports on YouTube and check it out.
I rewatch this Jackson Miami Trace game a few times. I may well rewatch it before next week just to get some pointers on what Jackson can improve on for our pregame show. We talk about it because, again, this is more likely than yes, very much so. They did miss a lot of tackles tonight that I do think that they'll be a little frustrated about.
Yeah.
But, again, like I said, I think there'll be a lot to look at, and they'll celebrate tonight. They'll probably have the day off tomorrow, and then on Sunday they'll get back in there, and there will be a film session where I think there will be a lot of yelling and screaming. You know, you've been in those.
Don't remind me, Sarge.
There will probably be some not so nice words used. But look, that's the reality. They've got to be able to. They've got to be able to put the big boy pants on, especially now in the postseason. And again, against a team like London, you cannot afford to make some of the mistakes they made tonight. So, again, I think is this Ironman team absolutely capable of winning next week? Yeah, I would say a resounding yes. But will they have to be better? The same resounding yes. And,
yes.
You know and I think everybody knows that. Right? I think that's the big thing. I think everybody within that program, top down, knows that they can be and will be better next week. So
I've never heard Coach Hall say to a team, let's go out and play exactly like we did last week. He's saying we need to be better this week than we were last week. But I think it's especially true after tonight's performance. Miami Trace closed the gap a little bit. I mean, it was a 14-point victory against Miami Trace.
This was the first time in the win streak that Jackson's had against Miami Trace, the first time they've scored less than 40 points.
Yeah.
And it was and every single one of those wins against Miami Trace previously had been by 10 points or more.
There you go.
And again, like I said earlier, we haven't really talked a lot about Trace's perspective on this, so I guess we could do that a little bit. I thought, again, Jerry Williams, we talked about this a few seconds ago about how well they executed their game plan. I thought they did execute really well defensively and offensively, especially offensively, where I thought they had some passing wrinkles I don't think Jackson were expecting. They had some, like we said, that fake bubble screen got the couple of those inside runs had some different mixed directions in them.
And that was one thing I noticed. Jackson linebackers looked like they were
Caught two
times,
lines a lot.
Yeah, at times just a little bit confused by what Miami Trace was doing up front. They were pulling some guys. They were blocking back on some stuff, and and on top of that, you got tackle Julian Baker. So I mean, but ultimately, arguably, you said it. That is, it's setting in. Maybe greatest drive to close a game in the history.
One of the better ones. I mean, I think back, and Jackson fans cover you for this. I think back to 2022.
Don't say it.
The Watterson game, which was a drive that was unbelievable, right? That drive by Jacob Winters and Cade Wolford and that offense was one of the, I watched this game, was one of the better drives I've ever watched against the highest quality of defense in Bishop Watterson. And again, what happened on the 2-point play does not need to be talked about, but that it was in that echelon, right? This drive was better because you had the positive outcome, right?
Sure.
You took the lead, and it was so. And again, I thought Bodie Wolford, was he perfect tonight? Absolutely not. Did he make a couple mistakes? Sure, but he didn't. Number one, he didn't have the big mistake. No turnover, no interception, right?
That's it.
And when he was counted on the most, he stepped up and delivered, right? And you could tell, too, how much, I really noticed this on that last drive, how much his leadership was showing through.
Yeah.
Right? His will, right? Jackson ran a couple plays, and the clock's ticking inside 2 minutes, and the crowd's getting a little antsy, and he's like, hey, let's go. He's clapping the coaches. I noticed, the leadership, and he's getting his team going. He's running to the sidelines to get the play and then running back. And again, I think, a lot of what you're seeing from Bodie is just stuff that a senior quarterback can provide for you and how valuable he is to this Jackson squad. So, again, wrote his name in the record books a little bit, but I know this Jackson team is going to be really keen to, again, I talked to Andy Hall about this back in July. That goal is to get that regional title. It has been a goal at Jackson for really as long as Jackson's been a thing. And Jackson's had good football for decades and decades now, and they've come so close so many times.
Right.
And the last thing that the Ironmen want is to be just another team that came so close, right? And this has been another fantastic year. They've had some downs, but they've really ponied up here the back half of the season, won some huge games in the FAC, now won a tough and arduous playoff game. And now, you're looking to try and you got 2 wins to try and find. And then anything after that, right? You find a way to win, sure, great. Maybe you might even run into that old foe Watterson again. After that, it's house money.
Right.
If you can find a way to win a state semifinal, you get to Canton all of a sudden, let's see what happens in Canton, right? But for now, I think for Jackson, it's about focusing on what they can control this week, which is getting in the film room, getting healthy. And that goes for everybody. Again, we're still thinking about Coach Hall. We want to hope that he is still doing all right, and I hopefully he's listening right now. That would hopefully be the best time
scenario
that he is hanging out with us. And again, we're still wishing the best for him, but just being there for each other, and especially being there for Coach Hall, even if he's not 100%, definitely being there for Coach Hall and showing up for him even if he can't go to London this week. So that'll be a big thing as well. I know that this team plays, and again, it's such. You say this a lot, and one thing I notice on the sidelines a lot when I'm at Jackson games, not many more coaches or head coaches that are more intense than Coach Hall is. He is about as intense and in your face as it comes, and it's abrasive, right? It's aggressive, but you won't see any Ironmen talking back. You won't see any Ironmen.
No,
there's the attitude of this. Every single player is great. Right, they know because they play so hard for Coach Hall because they know how much. Right, even under all the fieriness that comes with Coach Hall is a deep love and care for what his team's able to do. And I always got that from Coach Hall. So I know that this team will play their absolute tail off for him. Whether he's on the sideline or not next week.
Coach Hall may not have built the tradition that's at Jackson, but he certainly built the team culture that that locker room has experienced for nearly 2 decades now. I was a part of it. I was a part of it when he came in. We transitioned from Coach Wolford to Coach Hall. And to see where this program is from where it was in the spring of 2009 before he coached it down is remarkable. Hats off to you. We hope you're doing all right this evening, Coach. We're thinking about you. We're praying for you. We'll be right back for final thoughts here on Football Friday Nights. We're going to wrap it up with you on Week 12 here in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts, it's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select items at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you're planning for the hunting season, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. Don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully stocked up for any season at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
The Slark family has welcomed drivers through their body shop doors for many years. And now, with the addition of Slark's Tire and Service Center, formerly Jackson Tire, they continue to provide the same great experience, care, and quality you can count on. Our certified technicians bring experience and knowledge and provide fast, expert service with top quality brand tires and parts to keep your car running smoothly and road ready. Reliable, honest, and hassle-free. Visit Slark's Tire and Service at 66 East Broadway Street in Jackson, your local tire and auto repair experts.
Mom, my teacher said some kids don't get new shoes when school starts.
That's why Southern Ohio Soles is so important, honey. They make sure that underprivileged kids start the year with shoes that fit and feel good.
So, if people give money, more kids can have shoes for school?
Exactly. Every dollar helps a child walk into class with pride, ready to learn and ready to thrive.
Can I help too?
Everyone can. Visit www.southernohiosoles.com now and help a kid start school confident and strong.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you is.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
As you age, you may have questions about finding transportation, healthy meals, or other services around your home and in your community. And the Elder Care Locator has the answers at 1-800-677-1116. Our caring advisors can connect you to trustworthy local experts and the support you need to age well at home. Real people, real assistance, and real connections are just a phone call away with the Elder Care Locator. 1-800-677-1116.
Listening to Football Friday Kickoff on Total Media Sports, presented by Slark's Collision Center.
You will be for 4 more minutes anyway. Welcome back. Eric Landry, Ethan Sargent with you in the War Room. We're wrapping up here on an action-packed Week 12. Again, if you feel like you missed anything, head over to Total Media Sports YouTube. Check it out. Head over to Football Friday Nights on Facebook. Check out the videos and sounds that Sarge was able to capture from Alumni Stadium this evening, where we kicked off our nights. And again, we said this earlier jokingly, but we chose right tonight in Week 12. We did choose right, and things are shaping up to be an awesome Week 13. We got a lot of teams still in the mix.
I think we got just about enough to stick out one last show. We'll see where we do it.
All right, you're pulling my arm. You're twisting my arm, Sarge.
I don't know. See, I don't know if we'll do a Friday night that night. We'll have to see on that, but we'll definitely have. I think I could. At least I'd be willing to do one. I know it. I know it's
I guess
great.
It's on me now. I guess the pressure's on me.
I love doing these. I enjoy them. Right, it makes my Fridays fun. The last 12 Fridays, I love doing high school football. It's great. It's what makes high school sports around here so great. And obviously, we're getting real close to basketball season.
Yeah.
So some good teams around here on that too. I know Miami Trace got a lot of that great hoops team back as well. They went unbeaten last year up until the postseason. So we'll see if they can replicate some of those heroics. Some great Miami Trace Jackson basketball games probably incoming with a couple of the same stars.
Yeah.
Right? Bodie Wolford will be on the basketball court. Ryan Simons for Jackson. Then Adam Guthrie and Julian Baker, both stars on the hoops side as well.
Yeah. A lot going on, man. We're in that time of year where if it's not football season for you, it probably is basketball. Sarge, any final thinking from you from a busy week 12?
We got a lot of teams that are very much in the mix for regional titles. A lot of teams that maybe haven't been there before, a couple teams that have. Some really good games next week, some really intriguing matchups. Unioto with that matchup, they'll have to deal with some injuries, but I think they still, on that defense, have enough bodies to potentially compete with New Lexington. Jackson's got a tough matchup on the road at London. Obviously, they got some things to tune up, but I think they can absolutely hang in there with the Red Raiders. You got a bunch of teams in Region 19, Wheelersburg and Nelsonville York, both Wheelersburg at home, Nelsonville York on the road. Both of those teams, I think, have real shots to potentially make some noise. And I think it's just going to be a wild week 13. I think we'll get it. I mean, it's going to be tough to top some of the drama we saw tonight, but I think we could potentially see it.
We saw some really good things tonight, and like you said, more in store in week 13. That's going to wrap it up for us on week 12. We appreciate you tuning in to Football Friday Nights. We will be back one more time at least next week. Be sure to tune in, check your local stations wherever you may be listening from. That's going to do it for us. On behalf of the Sarge and myself and the team at Total Media Sports, we will see you next Friday night in week 13. Try to stay dry.
This has been Football Friday Night from the Total Media Sports Network, presented by Slark's Collision Center. Tonight's show has been welcomed by
Holzer Health System, Howard Hanna McMillan Network, A.T. Hoy Transport, Higgins Steel Roofing, Rocky Outdoor Gear Store, Nick Station, Steak and Shake, True Track Garage Doors, McFadden Insurance, Ohio Valley Bank, Hocking College, Area Agency on Aging District 7, Willis Advantage Property Solutions, Didcot Glass, and Southern Ohio Souls.
Make sure to join us before and after your high school football game every Friday night. This has been a production of the Total Media Sports Network. All rights reserved.
970 AM and 97.3 FM. The Game. WATH Athens, a Total Media Group station.